Hello, hello. Raiden is definitely not a must-have. She is not that good of a character, quite frankly. She's not a bad character. It's not that hard to get use out of her. But there's a pretty meaningful difference between her and any character that I would even say gets close to must-have. But also I maintain the perspective that literally no character in the game is a must-have. You might feel that some characters are a must-have after acquiring them, because yes, having some amount of the characters that have very, very good universal utility in many a team are strong, right? Strong characters feel like they might be must-haves to you because they are strong and help you clear the content, yada yada, yap yap. But no individual character on their own, especially as they keep on introducing more stronger, supportive units. No individual character on their own is a character you need to have. So, like many people might consider Farina a must-pull. I think it's fairly safe to say she might be the strongest character in the game right now. But not like as far as strongest as far as DPS output, right? But strongest as far as she can be used in a whole bunch of different teams and really meaningfully increase like the average power level of your potential team options on an account. But there's like a number of factors that are like conditional with that, with how Farina's kit works to determine her utility, yada yada. Lisa's a must pull. True. Yeah, that technically, you know what, Sylvan, you're right. The only must pulls in the game are Amber, Kaya, and Lisa. Why? Because they literally force them on you. Or other free characters. No. I think those ones they force on you. You can't, if you want to like get through the tutorial of the game, you have to get them. They are technically must pulls. You don't have to pull, you don't have to pull Noelle. You can never wish in the weapon banner. You can never claim the free characters technically. So, anyways, no character is a must pull, but like, will you feel the difference from some characters? Oh yeah, duh. Strong characters are strong. But like one thing that a Polearms Only account should tell you, right, is that like I did not need, and yes, Arlecchino is really strong, but I've been 36 starring the Abyss since Yao Yao released, right? This account is over 2.5 years old, right? Arlecchino, Emily, Chevreuse, right? These are all very strong characters. We're very impactful characters for the account. But I didn't have any of them when I was 36 starring the Abyss for quite a long time. You don't need the strongest characters in the game to be successful. Since Yao Yao, when did you start playing the game? This account is like 2.5 years old at this point. It was 2 years old in like May of this year, if I recall. So, not quite 2.5 years old. 2 years and 3 months old. My main account is over 2.5 years old though, at this point. My main account I started in 2 years was January, so, Anyways, should you go for C2 Raiden or keep saving for Zilonen? Zilonen will probably, be more relevant. But like, I don't know, if you already have C1 Raiden, and, oops, I just went to put my phone aside and absolutely brought up Apple Pay. If you already have C1 Zilonen, or Zilonen, did you already have the C1 if the character doesn't exist? If you already have C1 Raiden, and you really love playing her. Oh, your cat was trapped in my room, I'm sorry. I didn't realize he was in the room when I shut the door. But right, if you already have C1 and you really love playing carry Raiden, right, it's very possible that you might want C2 Raiden just to be able to use her more, right? Like that's... I hate that her carry playstyle is relatively underwhelming in her like base intended playstyle. But she has more options than she used to have in the past, right? Like I'm gonna make another Hyper Raiden video maybe this week. I haven't quite decided if it'll be this week or towards the end of the banner. But basically, right, like Hyper Raiden makes Raiden, in my opinion, a very compelling carry, but it's still just another variation of a very high investment option to make carry Raiden worthwhile. Ultimately, is all it is. And Raiden C0 has many more team options than she had before, thanks to mostly Farina's release and Chevreuse's release. That like it's much easier to get used out of carry Raiden than it was before, right? So you have 2 weeks to make a Raiden video. I'm aware. I'll probably make it this weekend because it's going to be much like my original Hyper Raiden video was much more planned out. This is going to be much more casual. Be like I don't know what I'm exactly going to title it is the problem, but anyways, like point is Raiden constellations are not necessary to make her usable carry. You will as normal, you will probably see more value for your account as a whole if you like playing around with different teams. In particular, this is a bad account for an example of that because it's a Polearms Only account. But right, if you like playing around with different combinations of teams and like just messing around with things in the game, having fun with different characters, Zilonen will give you more value than Raiden C2. I think that is fairly safe to say. But you know, when it comes to the idea of okay, how much value will Zilonen give for Raiden? Compared to getting Raiden C2, like that's a different like comparative perspective to take. I suspect Raiden C2 would be a bigger damage upgrade than, you know, that just had like choked on my crap. I spit a little bit. I take a drink of water. Are you doing account reviews? I'll do a unit review stream tomorrow, I think. I was going to do today, but I decided to do Raiden farming, exploration farming today. Why? Because I was more in the mood for exploration. That's the only reason. So, anyways, yep. Zilonen for Raiden versus Raiden C2, if you are already at C1, is a bit more, I don't know, right? It depends on your preferences at that point. And it depends on like how many like strong supports you already have in your account, right? I do think Raiden is one of the characters that will benefit quite meaningfully from Xilonen's release. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, Chevreuse is definitely a factor as well in giving you reason to continue pulling on this banner. So, what pity are we? We should be at 60 pity. If I kept track of things properly the previous stream a couple days ago, double check here. 55, 60, yep, 60 pity exactly. Perfect. I don't know, my goal was not originally to get like to a 10 pull every one of these streams. We're at 300 Primo Gems. I already claimed dailies for the day, I think. Yeah, I did. And we, I don't know, good. So the event, we can finish the event, which has, you know, 80 or oh, it's 90 per level in the last two. Nice. Okay. So it's 180 Primo Gems, right? So that's a little bit more than a wish. That will actually take us to 3 wishes total in Primo Gems, and then we have 2 Starglitter wishes. So that would mean, can we farm 5 wishes worth of Primo Gems today? The 5 wishes is a lot with how distracted I tend to get, if case it's not obvious. So, anyways, we're gonna try the. Is it worth building 22 characters with visionary mode? No, in my opinion, theater is not fun enough. But I don't know. If you want to build like theater is, in my opinion, at its most fun when you don't stress about trying to build characters specifically for it. Theater is at its worst when you're building characters just for the purpose of using them in theater, and then you oftentimes just don't even end up using them for theater, right? You just leveled them up to level 70 to challenge the mode in the first place. The visionary mode versus the hard mode is not like, oh my god, it's so good of an experience now. Like, no, it's exactly the same. You get 2 more Primo Gems as a reward for it, though. Like, theater has all the same problems. Visionary mode is just like technically the most enjoyable version, I guess, but only if you are already in a state of being able to challenge it, in my opinion. Leveling 5 more characters to challenge it is not worthwhile. So, I don't know, level up characters because you want to use them in some form. Like take theater as an encouragement to play around more with characters and be open to the idea of leveling characters, right? Because theater is good at giving you an incentive to give you reasons to level up more characters rather than trying to go from, you know, trying to be insane and going from top 120 in your Arlecchino leaderboard in Akasha, which doesn't mean anything in game. It means literally nothing, to #1 spot. Like, that's insane. It's a stupid spending of resources, right? Whereas, like, you know, just being like, okay, you know, my other characters are good enough. There's, you know, realistically, it just does not make sense to farm for my existing characters I enjoy playing. How about, you know, now let's farm for leveling up Fischl. You know, people say Fischl's great, whatever, right? Yada yada. Like, no, don't level up characters for theater just for the rewards. Level up characters because you want to play those characters in some form. And just be open to the idea of, like, oh, you might actually find a character after you play them a little bit. You might find a character you enjoy more than you would have realized beforehand, just because of the fact that you decided to level them up a little bit and put a little bit of resources into them. So, you know, that's the open-minded approach and perspective to theater. But anyway, don't freaking stress yourself over it. I do not think theater is a good goal line to set your sights on for an account. Because, you know, it just doesn't gel with the normal way the game is designed, is what I would say. So, in my opinion, anyways, have you done the Natlan Archon quest? Yes, I did that last time, Gerato. Weren't you there? Weren't you there in the stream, Gerato? Normally, I think you were there, but your level in Akasha from last stream, it was level 120 when I played around the artifacts. I believe we were at like rank 120 or something. No, I didn't check again. I don't care that much. I'm only gonna check when I have like a new artifact or whatever. So anyways, we'll go use our resin quick, and then we will continue farming in Natlan. I am AR60 in both of my accounts that I actually play on. Dark Force. You get to the AR60 amount if you play for, like, you know, a year and a half straight, so like logging on most of those days for like a year and a half, and, you know, play through most of the main, you know, Archon quests and whatever. You don't have to do all the side quests, but from the 2 accounts I did, they both got to AR60 at about the same amount of time, which is about the year and a half-ish mark. I didn't check in depth, but that was what I recall. I've been AR60 a while on this account, but not like crazy while. If you ever do a welcome giveaway, I have in the past, but also if you think giveaways are simple, they're not. They're actually annoying as shit to set up fairly. I'm like, just logistically annoying. So, you know, but I have given out welcomes before. Is this account considered endgame? Yes. This account, I would say, was considered endgame. When would I consider Polearms Only to have hit endgame? You know, I think Polearms Only hit endgame when I started at 36 star. That's my opinion, personally. So, Yao Yao's release is when Polearms Only hit endgame. So, you know, a year and 9 months ago. Yeah. So, anyways. What was I saying? I don't know what I was saying. Anyways. Did we get the C6? No. I'm not spending money to get C6, guys. Like, do you realize that grinding implies... grinding? I didn't get C6 yet. I'm still doing normal Genshin things. I just started the stream. Is Toma good? Yes. Toma has gotten... no, freaking min roll piece. It's technically possible that I could roll crit damage and then high roll to heaven and high beyond and technically be better for my Emily, but I'm gonna just say no. What is with these random questions? Dark Force. No, Sara's pretty garbage, quite frankly, if she's not C6. And at C6, she's a side grade to other characters. For Raiden specifically, I should say. So, no. Sara is kind of garbage, quite frankly. What they were thinking with Sara's design, well, is completely beyond me. The only thing I can guess is that Sara was intended as a character only usable with Raiden, which she basically only is, and they wanted her to be usable with nobody else, and I don't even know. I don't know what they're thinking about Sara's design. She's very not good. Yes, C6 Candace is important for Arlecchino to vape. If you don't have C6 Candace with Arlecchino, can it still work for Overworld? Yeah, sure. Like you get the Hydra application when you switch. That can get you some, at least a few vapes on Arlecchino, but it will be clunky to use and not recommended. Anyways, those were some artifacts, that's for sure. Pity is at 60. Alright. Where do we want to start exploring? Well, Natlan. We will probably be doing some incidental questing. I don't think I have any of the other... Yeah, I think I only... We're basically done with the, Springs area, right? Yeah, we're at like 90% exploration. There is definitely stuff not done. I think there is still... I guess we'll go try to finish some of the Springs area quick. We'll go... I think I mostly got this stuff over here, but... We'll go like over here quick, I guess, and then we'll go over to this island and this island. I think I'm mostly technically I'm done with this island. There's not that much on this island, if I recall. But there is the thing here, and then there's the short little quest chain here to finish. And that will be a couple chests. And then there's this island we can do quick. And then we're basically done with the Springs area. And we can move on to the other areas. I think I'll do the mountain, because I like the mountain. Actually, you know, we'll do the mountain. We'll go into like this area because this was a fun little quest line. Yeah, we'll do that. I like the idea of doing the mountain next, personally. So, yep, this is the floating island quest line. I did that last time. I did that already. Actually, wait. We gotta do the event first. I almost forgot about that. We'll do this. You think Genshin's gotten better with designing character kits? Oh yeah, for sure. They've gotten a lot better with designing character kits. Raiden in general, I think, was a bit of an absolute F up at C0. I don't think she was a very compelling unit when she released, quite frankly. I say that as someone who got her on her first rerun. She was my most regarded character for a while for a reason, until I got to much higher investment levels. So, you know. Going to the Fatui trapping area, you might not know about the precious chest on top of the generator. I do know about it. I think I literally included that in my video. I was like, yep, there's like a 90%. I think I was climbing up and I was like, there's 100% chest up here, and there was. Anyways, utilize the thunders loops with the challenge and defeat enemies in synergy with your character's rapid movements. What does that even mean? Is this impossible to clear on Polearms Only? I'll try Arlecchino. She has a faster movement ability. We can throw in Kachina here. Maybe that counts. Does just sprinting count? If just sprinting counts, then we're fine. You need Hydro? What? Where in this does it say you need Hydro? Okay, this is 100% absolutely the worst frickin' one then. Jesus, Mahoyo. Utilize Thunder's loops and, what are Thunder's loops? Well, I don't know, figure it out yourself. And defeat enemies in synergy with characters' rapid movements. Like, this is the Mahoyo problem, right? Where you actually read the crap they tell you, and the crap they tell you means nothing. Like, what? Jesus. You just gotta run? Okay, oh, is there chatters then that are being stupid then? Okay. So, either chatters are being stupid or Mihoyo is being stupid, or both, I don't know. Everyone's stupid. Yeah, we'll put in Kachina Arlecchino here just in case I need their, like, sprinting movement abilities or something. Yeah, I guess we'll do that. Actually, no, we'll do a Sino team. I want to play Sino. In the last part, right? Oh, we get Pyro and Geo damage bonus. You know, who cares about Pyro and Geo damage bonus? Not me. Not me. We will put a Zhongli here, though, for some extra res shred for Sino. Alright, we don't really need to do anything else, so we'll throw in that. And, I don't know, have fun. Give us some Geo resonance. Yeah, is Polearms Only. Oh, alright. Use thunderous loops. Okay, so do I have to do that though? Wait, what? Oh, no, you don't even, I'm not even running, I'm just walking. What is this one? Why is it? You don't even have to do anything, you can just stand still. What? I guess you can't stand still because they don't run at you enough. Maybe. But like... Okay. Alright, this is like officially the stupidest one in the event. That's for dang sure. Well, let's jump on the drill. I mean, this would be a fun ability in a character kit, to be clear. Not this much damage off-field. That would obviously be absurd. Obviously. But conceptually, just a field, a big field of electro like that's constantly up. Like if that's Eon Sun's kit, ooh. Like imagine if Eon Sun is just electro application in like a constant field around you like that. Like, and then they're a team-wide healer. They'd just be 5-star kooky, to be honest, if that was the case. But if electro does have a need, there's been cases where I'm like, okay, I want to use Farina. And then, oh, it would be nice to have some Electro or whatever. And then you just don't have a team-wide healer for Electro. And it's just like, So if Eon-san is a team-wide healer and does something like that, that could be cool. Yeah, it would probably just be Kooky power creep, but Kooky is like, if they're going to power creep anything, it's fine to power creep 4 stars with better versions of them in 5 stars, in my opinion. Like, 5 stars should be stronger, because they're harder to acquire. They take more resources to acquire. But, you know, and I hope they do something else other than, you know, just being better than Kooky, to be clear. But the point is, there is a need for a, really? How the heck did I just get interrupted there? There is a need for a better option for team-wide healing in Electro units. And having some, like, constant ring of Electro around. Oh, I missed that somehow. Oh, probably because I didn't actually hit enemies. You're apping out my reactions. Ooh. Really? Okay, well, this was not the correct hand to attack. That's for sure. Okay, well, yep. This team is not ideal. Oh, I just ended up the thing. This team is not ideal, I'd say, for this situation. Do I only have to kill the big enemy? I might only have to kill the big enemy. I should have not. But I will. This is gonna die quick. Well, I think I did pretty dang poorly here. As long as I got the max rewards, it doesn't matter, but I might have to... I don't know if I got the max rewards, actually. I definitely wasted a lot of time there, I think. We didn't get 12,500, that's fine. We might be able to if I change teams around, but... I don't... Oh, you do need to get... Oh, okay. Maybe we'll go back. We don't need that for the Primogem rewards. I might go back and do that just for my own satisfaction. Not that I don't need the Mora on this account. So, anyways. Break the mage's shield. Wow, okay. Are we actually going to use Shao? I mean, hit that, but it makes sense that, yeah. We're gonna, you won't find, we'll use Shao. If they're gonna put a bunch of mages together, then it's Shao's time to shine. So, we will do it. We'll just do Shao. I don't know, it'd be funny. Vaporize or melt. Def decrease. Alright. Vaporize it is. Bam bam. Bam bam. Here you go, your Shao video. I'll be honest, I already forgot that I said I was going to make a Shao video. It's still on my notes list. Well, the Shao video will take time, okay? Oh look, Shao can do something. Timing of that was quite comical. I like how they didn't even, like, they just grouped them literally right by each other. You don't even have to do any kind of grouping strategy. Wow, you go, Shao. He's not breaking shields that fast, but that's because they're also not giving us that many shields. Okay, the time just ran out. Do I need to get max points? This is the first one I failed to get max points. Oop. I didn't mean to actually click that. Is there a way to... I mean, we could add in... I don't know, there's any number of characters that could increase shield breaking potential against some of these. Probably... The points don't matter? Okay. Yeah, we'll just... Oh, wait. Oh, shoot. I have to redo it now. Oops. Okay, well, I guess we're redoing it. Problem is, like, the field time... I feel like just plunging on Shao is smarter. So, yeah, just having, like, high uptime whatever from off-field is... something, I guess. Like, it'll just be some extra, like, shield breaking. That's kind of all it is. I don't know. Is Zhongli better here than Emily? I think she is.
Don't get too close. Support fire.
I believe in Shao. He can. I think he can do this. I think he can do this.
Shine down. I got you covered. Fire it up. For evil conquering. Here. Worthless. Here.
I believe in you, Shao. No, we're too far away from them. Yeah! Good job, boy. We did it. Alright, good. Oh, okay. I think I just did Hydro Crystallize. Whatever. I'm not gonna worry about Candace swirling right now. Or Candace swirling, Candace vaping right now. Wait, we're getting grouping. Oh. Maybe I should. It's not even worth the time to switch to Zhongli. Yeah, things are... we kill things too fast, so I don't even like have the ability to properly switch to all of them. knew any spawn I have to do that, but... Wait, did I get... Ah! No! Well, that's just a skill issue, I'll be honest. I have no excuse to not get 12,500 there. Not with a... That's just a me problem. I just think I just didn't have to... As long as I didn't switch there at the end, I think I would have been fine, probably, if I just whacked. Well, that's a personal failure with the seasoning Arlecchino. That is a personal failure of mine. Compared to the like combat triumphs I've had on this account, where like, you know, it felt like we were against impossible odds many times in the past. That was not impossible odds, that was just me being terrible. Alright then. Well, let's go finish up the main obvious things in the area here. Fly down from above. I am... So we do have like 5 wishes right now. I am kind of tempted to go to 65 pity. That way the next 10 pull is in the start of pity. But I don't think I want to. I think we'll save the because I think I'm comfortable going to 70 pity with the next 10 pull, where it's probably not going to be a 5-star, right? And then the next 10 pull after that is from 71 to 80 pity, right? And that means it should almost, unless we get quite unlucky, 71 to 80 should definitely contain the 5-star, which will, you know, I want that suspense, since if we lose the 50-50, we lose the 50-50. We're not going to use a guarantee for C6 Raiden, but we'll see. Yeah, I think I already got everything on this little island here. Is there something in those boxes, maybe? Yeah, so we'll go to the little beach ball thing. Wait, what is that? Did I do that? I don't know if I did that. What is this? Why is there 3 of them? Yeah, why is there so many of them? Okay. We are at 60 pity, so, you know, you can't even get 500 points. I mean, you're probably doing the lowest difficulty. I don't know why I'm attacking this dude, but I guess I am. Is there anything I can get from riding on those things? I feel like are they just here to like make me go up the mountain faster? Why are they all here? I don't recall these being here for some reason. They just seem like they go up the area though, and they don't do anything. Just shame Arlecchino doesn't have good wings to go with her outfit. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, yeah, I was just going for up, that's what I thought. Leave me alone. Alright. Hello. Do I need to... Yeah, I do need to talk to you to start this. Is it for Mualani's story quest? I don't know. Yep. Bring the birds in, I know. I understand. I hate the McDonald's. I mean, may as well call them the McDonald's. I highly dislike the McDonald's wings on Arlecchino, personally. Not gonna lie. I think they're ugly as shit. They do not match. It's a very, very incorrect balance of like red and blacks, the wrong the wrong shade of red. Like it looks terrible in my opinion, quite frankly. But if you like it, you know, more power to you. I think the McDonald's glider looks great on a number of characters. Not on Arlecchino. Wait, what? get all 3. Oi! What? You just walk into the water? Hello? What? Okay. I put him on land and bro just walked back in the water. Alright, appreciate the love for Raiden. She deserves everything. I mean, I have trashed on Raiden's Constellations. We're not doing this out of love for Raiden, quite frankly. We're doing this because I have accidentally ended up with C5. Not, I mean, accidentally is a weird word, right? Like, the decisions were purposeful, to be clear. But, like, it was more just like, oh, there's multiple times there's been 4 stars that I wanted C6 now on Raiden's banner when Raiden's been rerunning for this account. And it's been like, well, when do I have a better time to get Toma Constellations than when Toma is on Raiden's banner, right? So, you know, I never would have specifically planned to get C6 Raiden. That's for dang sure. It's not very good. I would have liked to get C2 Raiden at minimum eventually on this account, but at the same time, like I said before the previous stream, right, if Chevreuse, obviously Chevreuse was made in conjunction with trying to give Raiden more options. I think that is very clear, but Chevreuse releasing, if I knew her C6 was impactful enough on this account that I would have gone for C6 Chevreuse over going for C2 Raiden if by chance when Chevreuse originally released, like Chevreuse released on Navia's banner rather than releasing on Raiden's banner for some reason, right? I would have prioritized that, and then I wouldn't have ended up with C1 to C3 Raiden if that was the case. And then if Toma wasn't on this banner, and the main reason Toma's on this banner is not for Raiden's energy, it's for freaking, well, obviously Raiden's energy is pretty decent with Chevreuse team specifically, but Toma is primarily there because of Kanish. They need to put a 4-star on the banner that has synergy with Kanish. So point being, get these birds off the thing. I didn't really intentionally try to get any of these Raiden constellations that strongly. Like, C2 was like, yeah, sweet, would like that eventually because it's a Polearm Only account. Would be a shame to never get C2 Raiden on a Polearm Only account after years of play, right? But at the same time, if the 4-star situation had gone differently, with Chevreuse especially, you know, wouldn't have been the craziest thing. So, it's weird. And now because we have C5, because of the early 5-star we got when wishing for Toma, there's no stopping here, right? I don't know why I just did that. C3 R1 Raiden out there. She's not the most powerful ever. C3 Raiden is plenty strong. Ultimately, she's like C2 Raiden, carry Raiden is on par with, you know, some of the stronger carries that exist now. The average power level of carry units, carries being, you know, on field units who are outputting a bunch of like crit based damage on field, right? They are definitely increasing the power level of them a little bit, I would say, but not crazily so. Non-C2 Raiden has always been an underpowered carry. So C1 R1 strong. Depends on the team you're using her in. Yeah, I don't think engulfing is worthwhile on Raiden. I do think Sapphire Scarlet Sands is worthwhile on Raiden. Keep an eye on my channel for probably a video that will talk about that again. It'll be a bit more simplified this time around though. I still don't know what I'm gonna title it though. Is there a Yoshi I missed? Yes, there was down there. Okay. Well, oh well, we walking. Do. There's not a Yoshi. Is there? There is an Oculus up there. Okay. We are, I think, like with this Oculus. I believe we are like 3 Oculus away from a level in the statue, which is 100 primogems. struggling so much. No, I think we are. We are like 1 or 2. I think I'll have to double check. All right, that's good. I do not know if we're gonna get to a 10 pull this video or not. No, I don't need that. Yeah, engulfing is indeed Xilolen's signature weapon, in my opinion. Do. Hello. Head stomped him. Goomba stomped him. Yeah, it might be something titled like, is Hybrid Raiden still worth it? Cause yeah, that might be a good concept. I don't know. Is Hybrid Raiden still? But that implies people know what Hybrid Raiden is, right? I might do something like for 1 year, I've used Raiden. I don't know. I've used Raiden. You gotta have some kind of hook, right? For people that don't know what it is going in. Like it's meant to be like a 1 year later retrospective, I think, a commentary on Hybrid Raiden, and if it's still worthwhile, especially in the context of that weapons are much easier to, like, the cost of a weapon now is, a 5-star weapon is less than the cost of getting a copy of a character, right? So this means that, like, getting the main thing that makes Hybrid Raiden worthwhile, which is, in my opinion, Staff of Scarlet Sands, Cyno's weapon, is much easier to plan and specifically save for than it was before. If it's something you want to do, right? And that's a significant difference, right? Like before, with 2 fate points being required to guarantee a weapon, right? Weapons were on average still approximately the same difficulty to acquire as a single copy of a character, but they were more heavily RNG, such that you functionally had to save more wishes for a weapon banner than you would have to for a character banner, right? And now that it's changed to 1 fate point, though, it is, you need like 130 wishes to guarantee, which is just less, right? Like, it's just always going to be less that you'd have to plan for, right? You'd have to plan for about 150, 160 wishes on character banner to guarantee a copy of Raiden, or like a Raiden Constellation, would be the comparison point. So that's what I'm going to focus the video on, is comparing the value of, like, getting Constellations on Raiden compared to, like, getting either this weapon, which is obviously the same difficulty as getting Staff of Scarlet Sands, or getting whatever. And I'll talk about Engulfing Lightning as well a little bit, because you can do Hybrid Raiden with Engulfing Lightning, but it's just so much more awful to build. So anyways, you've been playing Raiden wrong. Do this to fix her now. Yeah, I could do that, I guess. Yeah. Maybe I'll just do something generic. Because I have gotten new artifacts, like I have improved my Hybrid Raiden build a little, like not insignificantly actually, I would say. Mostly with the new goblet and new circlet I have that I don't think I had. Actually, did I have it? I might have had the circlet. I don't know. It's a bit better than it was. I could do something like, I've farmed a year for this Raiden build. Right, that could be the hook. The risk of doing the title that way would be... Oh, I had to wait. That's why I was confused here. The risk of titling a video that way is, like, people think it's just like a farming video or whatever, and it's possible as long as I start yapping into the nuances of things, which is important because I'm going to have to do that to explain why I have farmed for this for a year. I don't know. Maybe I think that might be the best way to structure it. So, anyways, is there a way to make Hybrid Raiden with no 5-star weapons? In my opinion, no. It's just not worthwhile, quite frankly. That just just do a catch build on a normal build, normal emblem build, and Raiden, it's gonna be miserable regardless. To farm for her compared to, you know, the likes of using these characters that can use these new free crit sets. But use the catch, use engulfing, play a Chevreuse team or play a Farina team, or you can play National, but like Raiden National is just in my opinion. I don't like Raiden National. But if you have Farina, you have Chevreuse, she has decent options. Now that she didn't have. And like the biggest factor that I'm like, one of the big things I'm going to focus on is Chevreuse existing now, right? Like I updated the pinned comment of my original Hybrid Raiden video, because I originally proposed what I structured the Hybrid Raiden video as first was like, I fixed Raiden's biggest flaw. And I still stand by the concept of that being what Hybrid Raiden did for me. It fixed Raiden's biggest flaw for me. But I need to take these. Then I updated the pinned comment basically with a whole bunch of things. I updated the pinned comment for clarifications on things because, like, you know, people were like, you're trying to compare to National, but then you like played National wrong. And the point wasn't to play National right. The point was to show what Raiden gets for damage personally. It was like people were like, why are you comparing National and these weird teams you're using with Raiden when you're playing National wrong? That wasn't the point yet. Like, God, the comments, some of the comments in the Hybrid Raiden video pissed me off so much. It's like, you missed the point. The point was to compare the damage Raiden gets in these different teams. Not to holistically say, never play this team. That wasn't the point. Like, Jesus Christ. So, anyways, Hybrid Raiden, the easiest way to achieve Hybrid Raiden is, oops, I'm gonna dive that way. Easiest way to achieve Hybrid Raiden is with, anyway, Staff of Scarlet's Hands, ultimately. It's not a situation of like, oh, engulfing is specifically not worthwhile. But, what? Why did it just launch me? Okay, well, we're just not getting that one. Wait, do we have to get that one? It's just like it just launched me 5 miles above this. Okay. So isn't Raiden more of a support than in Rational, so it's harder to compare personal damage? Yes. You were not really wrong, but my Zhongli build was not bad. My Xingqiu build that I was using there was not bad. But like, Raiden buffing Xingqiu's damage in Rational is not significant. And like, that's one thing people like were criticizing too. But Raiden isn't that much of a support. Like she reduces the energy and does some on-field damage of herself. But you can also like, part of the problem with Raiden National is you can just like do any number, like the most replaceable unit in a Raiden National team is Raiden. Right? Like, you can do Sucrose National, and I think Sucrose National is more... How did I miss those? I think Sucrose National is more fun, personally. And more engaging to play, and gives more satisfying damage and flexibility for how you play around with the different... rotate with the different characters. But Hybrid Raiden gives her a shit ton of additional teams. That's ultimately all the fundamental argument has been with Hybrid Raiden. Is like, it gives her a whack ton of additional teams that she can be viable in. But ultimately, right, the biggest flaw that I had with Raiden for a long time is that she didn't have any teams, despite having some interesting nuances to her kit that were unique. She didn't have any teams with her intended like emblem catch build play style that were very enjoyable to me. Okay, I think I don't need that one, maybe? Yeah, we're good. Okay. You can miss a few. So, but like Chevreuse gave her teams like in her normal playstyle that was enjoyable to me, right? And Farina did too, although I didn't really care for the Farina variants because the Farina variants just felt very whatever to me. Like, I think it's a very generous statement to say that like Farina, Raiden, Xilonen, Jean is, you know, like I don't think that team is playing that crazily on the strengths of Raiden. It's just a team that Raiden can be a compelling on-fielder in. So, you know, and it's definitely not a taser team, in my opinion. Like, there's a little bit of electrocharge damage going on, but not really. So anyways, isn't Raiden a flex in that team as well? Pretty much, yep. Yep. So, and I don't think the experience is particularly meaningfully different. And in some ways, you know, you can get meaningfully more value in some situations by using Fischl instead of Raiden in that team. But anyways, the reason, like, and like, you could do Fischl and then you could do a Kazuha, right? And then spend more field time on Kazuha, like doing a sack sword double E Kazuha build, because if you don't need to have Raiden on field, you don't need to have, you can spend more field time on your supports, right? So anyways, yeah, Taser for me is about the utility, not the damage. I agree, right? Furina, Raiden, Jean, Xilonen is not a Taser team. It's just, it's a mono hydro team that you happen to slot in Raiden as an okay on-fielder for. But like Fischl turns it into more of a Taser team, and there starts to be a meaningful enough amount of actual electro application that you're getting good Fischl damage, obviously, but then you're also getting, you know, good shield breaking potential from Electro, right? Electro can be very good at breaking a lot of things. So anyways, I've gained, the Pyro Lecter Abyss gave me a new appreciation for Taser teams. That was a couple months back, right? Did we completely finish this? I think we did. We'll get a Yoshi, I suppose, here. I think there's nothing else in this island, but we'll do a quick run around with the Yoshi. But yeah, I like Taser. The Taser is situational, but point is, like, it really didn't feel like to me when I played Furina, Jean, Natlan, Raiden that it was that compelling. And it much more felt on the strengths of Xilonen and Furina as a combo, especially. And then, you know, with a good healer to keep up damage bonus. And switching to someone else could be viable. Did I say Fischl, Furina, Xilonen, Kazuha before? That was a stupid suggestion. I just realized because I forgot healing. I just implied that, you know, you could swap Jean for Kazuha with Furina and pretend it's the same. It is not the same. That would be stupid. But anyways, recommended Taser Raiden teams. I mean, Raiden with Fischl is quite enjoyable. Like, I have actually really enjoyed doing, one of the teams that gave me a lot of enjoyment out of Siegewin's existence is doing Raiden. This is not my main account, but I guess I'll just say it. Raiden, Furina, and this is Raiden on a hybrid build still, by the way, but Raiden doesn't need to be on a hybrid build in this team. It just actually works better than you expect still on a hybrid build. But yeah, Raiden on a hybrid build. I guess we're going, wait, is there, I think I did, okay, no. I don't know, you know, I think I did explore that spot over there. Okay, Raiden on a hybrid build, Furina, Siegewin, and then Fischl, right? That team was actually really enjoyable. Siegewin is doing buffing for mostly Fischl's and what's her bucket's damage? I should probably not use. I don't know, I can use a little bit. Mostly Siegewin's and or Siegewin is doing a little bit of buffing for Furina and Fischl's damage, right? You have a very good amount of Electro and Hydro application. Electro charge in that team is extraordinarily good at like stunning enemies. Siegewin is a compelling team-wide healer that reduces like Furina's ER needs. When I was trying to like min-max Furina in that team, like Furina starts to go freaking like wild when you have energy refunding from like one. Siegewin is the best double Hydro core for Furina because of her energy refunding and her buffing and her team-wide healing, right? There's no other Hydro healer that's as good. And like, oh yeah, Siegewin doesn't do as much Hydro as Kokomi. Yeah, no shit. But like that's because she does other things that are strong, that are advantageous over Kokomi, especially with Furina. So anyway, I think I have to disable this, don't I? Let's not forget that. Yeah, just use the Yoshi, I guess. There we go. So, yeah, the Farina official Raiden Sijuin was very, very actually compelling to me. It's a little bit not very traditional, I would say, to not use an anima unit. I didn't realize those guys get knocked down like that. It's not traditional to not use an anima unit in a taser team, but it worked really well. I don't know exactly what Farina's ER needs are when you optimize things down. But the energy particles that Sijuin provides in conjunction with the energy refunding from Raiden, and the fact that Raiden does things like, you know, does burst damage buffing, and Sijuin has a burst that can output, you know, a Nuvi-led charge attack, and, you know, a little bit of burst damage buffing and energy refunding for Sijuin too is actually valuable. So like the dynamic in the team was, you know, Farina, EQ, official, have Raiden E up, obviously. Usually I think I did Sijuin burst first, so I did like Sijuin EQ into Raiden EQ. Like Sijuin's burst is pretty short field time requirement, right? And I don't know, it rotated really, really smoothly and it was very satisfying to play. So, anyways, but obviously the team is also quite 5-star heavy, to say the least. Three limited 5 stars. that's what Raiden feels like, right? Raiden, to make carry Raiden at low constellations feel viable, she always just feels like she needs a lot of investment, be it in a ridiculous build or having really strong supportive units for her, yada yada. It takes a lot of investment to get use out of Raiden, and that's the biggest problem she has, in my opinion. You can, of course, do a lower investment Hyperbloom build, but that... Where's the... Oh, yeah, there it is. But a low investment Hyperbloom build, you know, you're not doing Burst Raiden, which is, like, tends to be why people are attracted to her kit, I'm pretty sure. It's not her Hyperbloom utility. It's her burst utility. But it takes a lot of investment to get use out of that with how they balanced your kit. Oh, that was interesting. You think Caesar Raiden is still good? I think it's not that hard to make use of her if you like the character. But if you're going to expect it to be good at low investment levels, you know, is she a character that will take your account to being meaningfully stronger by getting her? Definitely not. Like on her own, nope. Like if you want a character that's going to like start making it easier for you to make many compelling, strong teams, Raiden is not a very necessary component of those, right? But at the same time, there is enough things she does uniquely that, like, particularly in the long term, it's not that hard to get value out of her, right? It just takes investment. So, anyways, no, Polearms Only is not free to play. I have kept it what I consider low spender over the duration of multiple years, but I don't know, it might not be low spender to some people. I have played an account, by the way. I think some people might not realize, you know, that I played a free-to-play account for over a year. Or about a year. I don't think I need to say over a year. About a year. And yeah, this is where, like, my opinions about, like, free-to-play and come from and whatever, and, like, how I am on top of seeing many other players and how they talk about they play the game and playing on many other people's accounts. And I realized that, yeah, the only difference between a free-to-play and a non-free-to-play account is that, you know, you progress your account faster. When an account is... There it is. When an account is not free-to-play. And most notably in that, like, the Battle Pass, buying a few Battle Passes... Like, I don't buy Battle Passes anymore on Polearms Only. I don't think I bought one for quite a few patches. Because these resources are just, like, not relevant to me anymore because I'm not actively building any more characters because I'm only getting polearm characters and they don't release that many polearm characters, right? But like getting welcomes with any consistency and getting battle passes with any consistency significantly does accelerate the progress of your account. They have very specifically balanced this game around the free-to-play experience of this game around making you feel like you don't have enough resources and that like you're just like progressing at a crawl. And then as soon as you spend money and buy the welcome the battle pass, it feels like you're progressing at a fairly acceptable balance wherein like you're acquiring new characters. The difficulty of like building these new characters, the time it takes to build these new characters relative to like the time between acquiring new characters generally feels fairly balanced across the number of different accounts I played on. And free-to-play accounts, they're just slower. And they're meant to be slower to make you frustrated to the point that you spend money. Right? All these little sneaky design things that just make you feel like you should spend money. That's how the game is balanced. Which is not surprising. Like, the game is not free to make, but if you're playing it free to play, well, then they need to put in measures to try to make people want to spend money. They do have to make some amount of money to support the existence of the game, ultimately. I do think they go a step too far with many of their measures, but yeah. Free to play means your account progresses slower. That's all it means, right? So if you were starting an account today, right, and you were starting a free to play account, it would be very hard to catch up to an account that has been spending money since the launch of the game, right? But at the same time, a free to play account that started 4 years ago that has never spent a dime can very easily be at an investment level that is beyond what this account is at, right? If this account had been started at the launch of the game, it's easily possible I might have been able to get things like C6 Arlecchino without any welkins, right? But realistically, you know, with how old my account actually is, you know, I would probably have, this Polearm account would probably have like C2 Arlecchino. And I wouldn't have been able to take risks in like, you know, I wouldn't have like these extra Raiden constellations, right? If I hadn't been doing welkins, because I wouldn't have had the extra Prima Gems to risk going for C6 Toma, right? So, it gives you the flexibility to be more free to get things and progress a little bit faster. So, but it doesn't mean you can't achieve. Like, there's this perception I see from a lot of players that like, oh like I think I literally had a comment on like my account fixing video recently. Am I done here? Is that it? I forgot this has a really underwhelming ending, I think. I had a comment on my free-to-play or account fixing video that I made this last weekend. Why am I doing this? No. I don't need to move slower. Get out! I was like, my free-to-play ass will never... I know my free-to-play ass will never be able to reach damage that the whales can get. And it's just like... depends on what they're seeing, right, ultimately. But chances are that that person probably has a perception that, like, you know, 600k damage from Mualani is whale damage, right? It's not. 600k damage on Mualani is extremely doable without spending a single penny. So, the stream chat is glitched? What do you mean? It's updating fine for me. Yeah, patience is indeed the only thing that's required for free-to-play. You have to be okay with the fact that things will take you longer, right? And yeah, accounts that are spending money when you're not spending money will accelerate their progression at a faster pace. And it means, you know, you have to be more smart potentially. If you want to, you know, have the same level of account, you know, performance as far as ability to clear Abyss or whatever, you're gonna have to be smarter with your resources and whatever. But that is what it means to be free to play. Why is there a dinosaur up here? Why is this dude here? any way to view my builds? I mean, you can probably view them on Akasha, but I don't know. I think most of my... Did I put them in here? Yeah, I did. I don't have all Polearm characters here. I don't have Shenhe, Toma, Shao. Yeah, I mean these characters' builds are all very whatever. Kachina's on an EM build with a bunch of ER on Fav, and Shenhe's on a Noblesse build with like 3k attack on Fav. Yunjin's on Fav on 2-piece emblem, 2-piece defense. Toma's on Noblesse. Shao's on VV because he's Animo. Yep. Remove Mika. Why? No.
What's up? Wanna play?
I could remove Mika, but why? What other character needs to be in that spot? By the way, the content perspective on like one thing I'm glad, I'm simultaneously very glad it kept weapons only. That's the account I played on for a year. Free to play. Because it gave me the perspective, I think that was something I needed. But as far as like how that affected like making content, not spending money for Genshin makes it harder to do like content, right? Like a Polearm Only account is very much doable, not spending any money, right? But if I want to be able to consistently make videos on the account, right, not getting things like Welkins and Battle Passes on a Polearm Only account affects my ability to make videos. So like, I definitely don't regret. I don't regret the decision not to have Polearms Only be free to play. And I also don't regret Weapons Only being free to play because I wanted to keep it free to play, just to see what it was like. And what I learned was that progression was slower. It was harder to make content in Weapons Only. Like some people ask, like, why has it been so long since a Weapons Only video? Well, it's because it takes a while to progress on a free to play account, yo. And also, weapons are garbage. It's not actually that much interesting to do on an account when you're only pulling for weapons because it's bad. Anyways. And there was some people I think I saw that like were like, oh, are you gonna return to weapons only now that the weapon banner is slightly less cringe? No, because the fundamental problem wasn't really that much the acquiring of the weapon. That was a problem, right? The fact that it took 200 wishes to acquire a weapon made it so like we could never really specifically plan to get most weapons. Like it is better now, right? But the fundamental problem was that 5-star weapons just don't do enough for like the value spent, right? Like if you're wishing only on weapon banner, what we really quickly ran into on the weapon banner only account was that what mattered far more than anything is what characters did I randomly end up getting from the weapon banner. That mattered so much more than, oh, did I get the 5-star weapon or not, right? Like it made so little difference for me to get any individual 5-star weapon on that account compared to the value that characters give. So, anyways. How are the new 4-star weapons coming in version 5.1? I don't think we've seen confirmation actually of that. Or not yet. I suspect they are both of the new 4-star weapons are weapon banner exclusive weapons though. And I suspect that the Claymore is being released on Zilonen's weapon banner. The Plunge Claymore. There's a weapon I want, but I don't know if I'm actually going to wish in the banner for it. Heck do you want, dude? Do I need to pull Raiden's weapon? No. You just hear me yap about how I did a weapon only account, and my experience in a weapon banner only account was that there was not even a single weapon despite getting a number of good weapons that felt like it made a meaningful difference. It's because, like, no. Weapon banner can be worth it eventually, but it tends to be very long-term, investment-wise, is what I would say. Or if you are hyper-focused on a specific subset of units, it can be worthwhile, right? E.g., if you only pull for polearm characters and only play polearm characters, right? It definitely probably makes sense at some point to wish for some weapons for your polearm characters, right? Like getting some of these, and I've gotten quite lucky, quite frankly. I've gotten very lucky in my opinion. This I got a pity, didn't have to lose 500 for. Same thing with this. This I got a 20 pity, that was very lucky, and still the most significant probably instance of getting lucky that affected this account. This I got in a single 10 pull. The homos I think both took 120 pulls for. The second homo was not worthwhile to go for in hindsight, but still is not useless to have because it's homo. So anyways, the homos were the only ones I didn't really get lucky for. And I think both times on the Homo banner, by the way, I got Jade Spears and off right up. And then one of the Jade Spears came from Shao banner originally. One of the Jade Spears came from Standard banner, I think. Or maybe two of the Jade Spears. No, I'm wrong. I think one of the Jade Spears came from Homo banner, and 2 of the Jade Spears came from Standard banner, which is quite unlikely. So, anyways. Point being, can weapons be worthwhile eventually? Yes, especially in the context of like fab weapons. Fab weapons are overpowered as all hell. They are the best weapons in the game. This game would be a shittier experience if fab weapons didn't exist, quite frankly. Like, it's so much worse. God. Well, okay, to be clear, an alternative perspective of fab weapons is like, maybe some characters' energy needs would be less cringe. Like, maybe they would have, like, made Yunjin not be as screwed over by her energy needs, right, for her kit utility. As an example, you know, if Fav Lance didn't exist, maybe. I don't think so, personally. I think Mihoyo still, I think the game would be in a much worse state, and if Fab Weapons just didn't exist. So I've said before how, like, you know, Zajev, like, protests if you watch any of Zajev's content, he completely, like, does not ever touch Weapon Banner. But then the dude complains about, like, not having a second copy of Fab Sword every other day, I swear. That's an exaggeration, but, like, he surprisingly often will mention mostly he'll mention this. It's not really a complaint. It's more he will mention that, like, oh, you gotta keep in mind sometimes, you know, you don't always have options to use Fab on everyone. In my own account, it's an example of this. I don't have the ability to have multiple Fab Swords. That's his problem. Because he caused that himself by protesting the weapon banner. The weapon banner does exist. He has, like, the dude has, like, 100,000 Primo Gems. Like, he's just very stingy about using things, and I absolutely respect the fact that he only goes for C0 characters, right? I think he doesn't realize how some constellations can be fun, to be clear. And some constellations can make sense to go for, depending on the kind of player you are. But I respect him not going for constellations. I respect him not going for weapons. But weapon banners that have high value, like if it was a weapon banner that could give him that both 5-star weapons were relevant for, like, characters that he had, right? And it had Fab weapons on the banner, notably the Fab Sword in Zajev's case, and he has 100,000 Primo Gems. Like, he has spare resources. Primo Gems don't do anything for you unless they get you things that you can do with the stuff in the game, right? Like, it makes sense to save. Saving is a good thing. But saving 100,000 Primo Gems when you only ever get C0 characters anyways? Right? Like, yeah, Zajev is digging his own hole when it comes to, like, his problems with Fab. Like, the weapon banner does exist. My point is, like, Zajev is in a case where he should probably wish on a weapon banner where there's 2 compelling 5-star weapons for him and Fab Sword is on the banner. It doesn't mean he's guaranteed to get a bunch of Fab Swords, but he kind of mostly just wants, like, 1. And it's not that hard to get 1 copy of Fab Sword when you have 100,000 Primo Gems. So, like, and, like, this change to make these actually easier to get, like, I don't know. I'm still, next time we have a Sino rerun, I am going to, although Sino might show up on Chronicle banner, I think, now. Because I think he's had 2 reruns, right? Or has he? I don't know. But when we have a Sino rerun, I do intend to try to convince the Jeff to get Staff of Scarlet Sands for Raiden. we'll see if it works, right? But if Fab Sword is on a Staff of Scarlet Sands banner especially, I think I might succeed in getting it. But it's also possible Staff of Scarlet Sands ends up being Chronicle bannered. Because of Sino. So, yeah, he can go in Chronicle. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. Alright, I think I'm mostly done with this area. Yeah, I'm at like 93%. Obviously, there's a little bit of crap to get here still, but that's just a reputation quest. Okay, I think we're going to go run along this coastline real quick, because I think there was a couple things over here. May as well get... We're at 60 pity. Jeff plays only EM Raiden? Well, exactly. This is why I think he should be receptive to hybrid Raiden. Right? Because I think he will... Like, I have a pretty simple argument I think I can make for him when it comes... Maybe this is something I should use in my hybrid Raiden video, right? But, like... This is something I did use in the original hybrid Raiden video. I don't know why I felt like killing him. But it was... Okay. This is... the basic argument is, right, okay. What is, like if I ask... Jeff knows enough about the game, right? If I asked him the question, what is Raiden uniquely best at, right? Oh, we got there. Okay, thank God. What exactly is Raiden in Raiden's kit, right? What is Raiden uniquely better at than any other character in the game, right? And it's her ability to trigger hyper blooms realistically, but more specifically just her rapid, wide AoE coordinated attack hits of Electro that can trigger different transformative reactions off field, right? I very much think Zajeff would agree with that sentiment, right? But then I also think if I then mention, okay, but what is the most, you know, flashy, attractive part of Raiden's kit, right? It would be like her burst, right? And her burst does useful things. It is, you know, able to refund energy, right? And a problem with her burst refunding energy not being that useful in the traditional context is she doesn't actually have that many compelling teams to use her as an on-field carry. And therefore, her ability to refund energy isn't that significant when it can't benefit that many teams. But if you have a build that she becomes much more viable of an on-fielder to benefit, you know, many more characters can potentially benefit from energy refunding, right? So, anyways, right, I think I can make the argument of, you know, hybrid Raiden with Staff of Scarlet Sands enables Raiden to get very compelling burst damage, but also still very compelling transformative reaction damage, right? Like, you actually sacrifice surprisingly... With Staff of Scarlet Sands, you sacrifice surprisingly little. This one I think is I have to mark the ones with paint, right? Yeah. Wait, have to go in order? Oh, we'll find out. You have to sacrifice surprisingly little like hyper bloom damage, particularly in teams where you have like an EM buff going on for Raiden, like from Nahida, for example. Right, when you have around this, you know, 450, 500 EM mark, which is like what I have aimed for my hybrid Raiden builds across both accounts, which takes a lot of investment, yes, but so does a normal Raiden build. A normal, like, traditional emblem Raiden build, right? When you have, like, 500 EM on Raiden, then you get to the point wherein getting, like, you know, that 200 EM buff from Nahida or EM from instructors, whatever sources of EM buffs, right? When Raiden is triggering hyper blooms, right? Or other transformative reactions, she's still triggering, like, towards... you know, 28,000, like I've seen like 28,000 hyper bloom damage, right? And like, yeah, you can get up to, you know, 3,500 hyper bloom damage potentially on a 4-piece flop build at like maximum level of investment. But like most people don't do 4-piece flop. Most people do like Guild of Dreams, and that's more like 33k hyper blooms. Point is, like, you can sacrifice surprisingly little hyper bloom damage for the benefit of giving Raiden a meaningful amount of burst CPS while also still doing the thing she's best at. You can have what she's flashy and fun with, and you can have what she is best at at the same time, and it vastly increases the number of viable teams that she has for a carry playstyle. It has been surprising over the last year how often in every single Abyss cycle, I've been like, alright, what can I do to make Hybrid Raiden work here? And I can make it work, and it works really well. Without needing, you know, crazy, you don't need Nahida C2. I usually don't play Nahida with Raiden, specifically because I don't like the fact that Nahida C2 buffs Raiden too much. So, yes, this Arlecchino is C6. Is Raiden C0 good? It can be. Is it worth going for compared to Zilonen releasing in a couple weeks? Probably not, in my opinion. I think Zilonen is going to be a much more fun and useful character than Raiden for most players. You know, I think it's kind of silly not, especially for free to play. I think it's kind of silly not to pay attention to. I meant to go and explore the coastline, by the way. So you know what? We're gonna go get this waypoint, and we're gonna go jump down to the coastline, or back over here to go to the coastline. It's not the direction I intended. So yeah, Raiden can be more than usable at low constellations. It's not that hard to make use out of her kit because she does a number of unique things, but she's definitely not the most valuable unit to get, in my opinion. If your goal is to, you know, increase the average like power level of teams on your account. So, yeah. Xilonen or Mavuika. I don't know what Mavuika's kit is. I have guesses, but I have like different guesses that I think have different amounts of likelihood. So, I think the Pyro Archon is most likely to be kind of Raiden-esque, but probably less meh. That's C0. That's my current guess. I think Mavuika is going to be Pyro Raiden, is my current guess, but she will do more relevant things at C0 than Raiden does. My current bet is that Mavuika will be do some off-field coordinated attacks with pyro damage, but it'll be rapid hits, not like slow hits, but still low application, right? Which means she'll be good for Virgin, and then she'll also do some like team-wide attack buffing from off-field. But then she'll have like a burst that lets her do a bunch of flashy on-field damage. That's what I think Mavuika's kit is going to be. She's going to be a modal DPS where she can just be used for off-field utility in some form, and do some like buffing, but it won't be like as much buffing for your on-fielder as like Bennett does, but it will benefit like the whole team kind of thing. So she'll do something that's off-field relevant, but we'll also have, you know, DPS-y on-field carry-ish playstyle. I hope she's a low field time carry playstyle unit. Because I have been finding low field time carries very, very fun to play lately. That's a personal want. She might have, her burst might make her stay on field for 10 minutes, who knows? I don't know. I don't know the specifics, right? This is just my guess. I don't know any specifics. This is just my guess, my vibe based on my knowledge of game mechanics and how characters' kits work and how it feels like there's a missing puzzle piece in how they are balancing a lot of characters currently, and how characters are being designed currently. It's like, it feels like there's some things they're setting up to be likely, right? And that's my current vibe in conjunction with how Mavuika is presented on a story level. But I could be wrong, so I don't know. Will Zilonen be more valuable than Mavuika? It probably will depend on your account. And depend on what specifically Mavuika actually does. Where is that Oculus? Because I somehow missed it. Oh no, this is the one that's underground. Yeah, you get this one underground after you do the Fatui questline here. So, anyways, Zilonen, we do know what her kit actually is, and she's going to be good. Zilonen will be most valuable if you don't have Kazuha. I don't know why I went to the banner. For some reason, I think I thought Kazuha was still in banner. Yeah, Zilonen will be more valuable if you don't have Kazuha at all. If you already have Kazuha, she can still be valuable, for sure. But, yoink. She doesn't necessarily do as much unique if you already have Kazuha. But there are still definitely teams where she will be better than Kazuha, and situations. But there will also still be situations that Kazuha is definitely better too. I think how they have balanced Zilonen at C0 is actually pretty good. Right. The conception of you can conceptualize Zilonen as she can buff as much as Kazuha does, but her buffs have higher uptime and can be therefore easier to do in mini rotations. But her full supportive buffing utility is at the sacrifice of she doesn't really do any damage, whereas Kazuha can do a lot of damage. It's a big part of what like makes his kit strong. Kazuha has a lot of utility in his kit with nuance to his burst and like his burst infusion. I've made many a video that utilize Kazuha's burst being able to infuse and do application off field, elemental application off field. Zilonen doesn't do any of that shit. She just does buffing. Or you can play herself. You can play Zilonen herself as an on-field DPS, but that's if you're doing that, you're sacrificing some of her buffing potential, and also she has more limited team options for DPSing her. So, anyways, right? She has higher buff uptime, easier to get buffs potentially, depending on the team, but doesn't have grouping, doesn't have the damage potential Kazuha has, but also does have healing in her burst. And her being a healer is a pretty meaningful differentiator, right? And it's enough healing. It's only a healing you're on fielder, but it's quite a large amount of healing when you build her for healing, especially. That she can be a compelling healer with Frina. Like in the same way that Bennett can be a compelling healer with Frina, Zilonen will be able to be a compelling healer with Frina. Not necessarily brain off healer with Frina, because she's not doing team-wide healing. So it won't be like Cloud Retainer Baiju, right? Where it's just, you basically just pretty quickly get maximum damage bonus and you keep your team topped off on HP. It will take a little bit more thinking in some team cases, but Zilonen will be very compelling with Frina, which is one of her most strong aspects. She needs to do 2 normal attacks and crystallize to activate her buff. Not to activate her buff. She needs to do crystallize to activate the artifact set buff. She needs to do 2 normal attacks to activate her passive res shred buff. So the different buff components require doing different things. But yes, the action of doing it is basically the same thing. It is basically just make sure, if you want to get like Hydro buff going from the artifact set, make sure Hydro's on the enemy, do her skill, do 2 normal attacks, and then you swap off. She does that faster than Kazuha though, from what I've seen. So like, that's not really a problem with her kit. That's actually like a potential advantage. She can do that very quickly. So, oh yes, and she can buff Geo units much more meaningfully than Kazuha can, because Kazuha doesn't buff Geo units. So, you know, Zilonen actually does buff Geo units. So yeah, she will be good with Navia. If you've used Kachina with Navia, Zilonen is basically Kachina Pro Max with Navia specifically. With the only meaningful difference maker being Zilonen, and this is the one advantage that Kachina basically has over Zilonen. Zilonen does not create a Geo construct. So if you're doing like I kind of want Chiori because of the fact that, you know, Kachina is a thing now. So you could do like Kachina Chiori core and always get the 2 dolls from Chiori, right? And use Kachina as like your defensive unit with a crystallized build. But anyways, Zilonen doesn't work in mono / triple Geo. Indeed, Zilonen does not work in mono / triple Geo. And that's a good thing. Because forcing all Geo units is not usually very good. C6 Goro is not that good. What am I doing? I'm going back to places I already went. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do a statue real quick, and then we will go back up to this plateau. Did we finish this one? I'll double check this plateau. I might have missed something here, but this little plateau I think just shouldn't take that long, and then we'll go do the Fatui quest. This whole friggin' plateau takes a long time. Is Husk good for support Zilonen? No. No, use the new artifact set. You literally can force the new artifact set on Zilonen with the worst stats possible, and I just offer all. Oh, that's fine. You can force things, and it will be good. Like Zilonen does not need much investment at a baseline. You can do higher investment things like having, well, a standard pull. You can do higher investment things. How exciting! Like I plan to have a support set build on her, that has hopefully a decent amount of crit rate substats and is still on a healing bonus circlet, so that it's just like if I want to maximize her healing for Frina use, I can. Not that it's necessarily needed to do a healing bonus circlet or anything with Frina, but it depends on the team exactly, and more healing, generally speaking, means faster damage bonus with Frina, and that means good. So like my ideal for my Zilonen is a fab build that has crit rate, ER substats with def percent timepiece, def percent goblet, and healing bonus circlet, right? To maximize her healing, and that's a good 100% universal support build for Zilonen, right? So yeah, and her healing is in her burst, so you need to have enough ER to burst consistently if you want to be able to heal consistently. But you do not need enough ER to just you don't need ER to get a buff though, right? So if you have healing going on elsewise in the team, or are using like Zhongli on the team to keep you alive, you don't need healing going on, then you don't even need to build any energy. Like Zilonen will give a meaningful buff without bursting. Bursting is just if you need the healing. So yeah, her ER needs are also not that high. Yeah. I think she has a 60 cost burst, and she generates, I believe, 4 particles when she casts her skill. I have to go double check that, but that also is something that is not impossible to change on live. All right, what do we have sigils wise? 38, nice. Okay, so that functionally puts us at, wait, how far away? Let's go check the sigil turn in. I think we're relatively close to a key in here. And a key turns into another 80 primos and more sigils, which is functionally even more primos. Well, I wish. Oh, we're 1 away. Nice. All right, sweet. We should be able to get the key. Nice. Okay, nice. It might also be doable to get... Oh, wait, no, they don't put... Okay, that's interesting. Oh, weird. I didn't realize they did that. Okay, this is probably better still. But remember the previous... sigil turn-in things used to have 2 wishes, I think, at level 10, every 10 levels, which is equivalent to 320 primos, right? So that's equivalent to, 6 of these, right? Or more than 6 of levels of the primo gems you get from these. But still, doing 50 primo gems each level and then splitting it out across each level, I think is much more balanced and makes it feel much more satisfying, I feel like, for like exploration, progression, and leveling into this than previous ones did. So I think it's a good change still. I didn't realize that it didn't even have any intertwined fates at level 10. Just didn't realize it, but well, standard wishes, yay. Do you think Hoyo is finally making Geo strong after Navi and now Zilonen? Yeah, their new philosophy with Geo is, in my opinion, aligned with what I think Geo could have always been most relevant for. Whereas like Geo's aspects of it not effing with we're at 800. Nice, that's not bad. That's actually been faster than I thought we would go. Yeah, Geo's aspects of not effing around with other things you have going on in the team that much can make it like the universal flex element, right? Like it can be universally versatile to have a Geo unit in the team for whatever reasons, and that feels like how they're designing Zilonen, how they've designed Navia, right? How they designed Kachina, right? With the Kachina is, yes, kind of the artifact set, the character, but still at the same time, like these are units that are most valuable, I think, because they can just be slotted into a lot of different teams, partially because of the fact that they do not F around with like your goal of like vaporizing on your Arlecchino very much, kind of thing, right? Like the lack of interaction can be a benefit, right, for versatility. And I think they're kind of leaning into that with how they're like designing the Geo units lately. That's why I don't like this obsession with like, but Mono Geo is just an outdated mindset. Get over it. Like, really? Like, I'm sorry if that makes you mad. Yeah, Yunjin was kind of that. Yeah, Yunjin was kind of that idea, except for they just completely boned her with energy needs, such that, like, God, she's awful to build if you wanted to use her solo Geo. So... Yay. Basically. Alright, where's this gonna take me? But yeah, and like as far as Ito goes, like Xilonen's release makes double Geo, so Xilonen and Ito teams with 2 other non-Geo teammates, very compelling. Right? Like I don't know, something like Fischl, Ito, Farina, Zilonen. Ooh. That's so much better than having to deal with Goro. And like, it's so much. Oh yeah, I said I was gonna go double check that plateau. Right? Yeah, you could. Yes, you could do Farina, Goro, Zilonen, and Ito, or you could do a unit that actually is doing something in the team, rather than just buffing very minorly. Goro C6 is not that good. So, anyways, I think I did get everything up here, I guess. Is Chiori better for Navia than Albedo? I mean, yes, a little bit, but... Eh? I think Chiori with Navia is probably... Where did this dude come from? I think Chiori with Navia is at her best with Farina. But then it brings in, okay, what are you doing for a healer? And you're sacrificing something by doing a healer necessarily. But I don't know, if you're doing like... If you're comfortable doing like Bennett in particular, I'd say. Like, Bennett, Farina, Navia, Chiori could be pretty compelling. I don't know. Or you could do, I don't know, you could also do... The fact that you could do Kachina now as a Geo Construct unit, as a low investment option, you could do Bennett, Navia, Kachina. Well, no, you don't have enough crystallizes, so never mind. You'd have to do some like Farina. You'd have to have some amount of off-field damage in conjunction with buffing. So, yeah. I don't know, right? Like. Chiori, I don't think is super worthwhile to pull for Navia. I think most people would probably get more value from pulling Zilonen for Navia. She's not a terrible character with Navia by any means, and well, and diversifying Navia's team damage distribution to be not just loaded into Navia's damage may help. You like, depending on what your Navia build looks like, right? You might very well feel the difference in Chiori as like a unit to get for Navia more than you would feel Zilonen. Chiori is not going to increase Navia's damage, but Chiori will increase the team's DPS still, and Chiori will diversify the team DPS such that it puts less need into having like, you know, a perfect like crit ratio on your Navia and whatever, such that it just feels more consistent potentially, right? It's kind of, that would be the argument, but I don't know. Chiori is an interesting character, in particular with Kachina's release is what I could say. But for Navia, it's interesting to pull Shanyun instead. Yeah. Plunge Navia is really interesting for trying to balance the plunges that you get and the skill shots. It was enjoyable to do Plunge Navia for sure. Now this is a Capybara, and we will fight that, because of course. Is there anything up? Yeah, we'll just do this quick. Alright. Oh yeah, there's that challenge there. This, I got a achievement when I went into it. Hello, Cappy Blappy. Yes. Probably. No, it's fine. We'll just use that. I think Zhongli can do enough poise to interrupt this dude. Oh, he's doing his thing already. Right. Oh wait, also Candace can do it too. Candace actually has high poise damage. We'll see with this attack. What? Okay. I thought... There we go. There we go. Okay. So it took more than I thought. I think I just saw exactly 100k damage for this.
Everlasting as the moon. A little ambiance.
Oh.
Pin them down. We shall prevail.
Oh, he's not doing anything. Oh, now he is.
Stabilize. I will have order.
Neutralize.
Can you stop doing your ass wiggle? God. See, this is why I don't think this is a good damage on me. He does the ass wiggle too much. Like, you have to, you know, okay. No. You have to, like, break his poise. And not every team can do that. I don't get why people are assuming every team can. When it comes to, like, the idea of using this dude as a damage dummy. Dang it. How many Primo gems do we have now? I mean, a little bit over 800, which we checked a little bit ago. How does Zilonen compare to Zhongli? I mean, if Zilonen is power creep for anyone, I think she is power creep for Zhongli. Quite frankly. Oops. My bad. I stopped caring about trying to break its poise. Bro, what? Stop jumping. There we go. Because, right, Zilonen is a defensive focus unit because for her supportive utility, right? Because she heals, right? She keeps her team alive by healing. And Zhongli is a defensive focus unit that keeps you alive by shielding. Now, of course, Zhongli has the big value of his interruption resistance and his res shred, but Zilonen does more res shred and also does her damage buffing through the artifact set. Damage bonus. So more buffing than Zhongli, but healing instead of shielding, right? So which is better is going to depend on you a little bit and how much you value interruption resistance. I do think it is worth remembering that Zilonen will at least give you, at C0, will, I think some people might get too focused on like, oh, I'll need C1 for interruption resistance. One, Zilonen C1's interruption resistance, the value it actually gives is, I think, less than like Xing Cho level interruption resistance. It's not guaranteed not getting interrupted, but it might be guaranteed not getting interrupted depending on the attack that you're facing. Like you might feel the interruption resistance value from C1 Zilonen or not, depending on the enemies you're fighting, and then also depending on if you have any other interruption resistance coefficients in character kits that because they stack together, right? So having multiple things that give you interruption resistance coefficients will potentially give you more guaranteed interruption resistance and some more kinds of hits. It's more complicated than just, you know, if it says it gives interruption resistance, you never get interrupted is my point. Even with C1, she does not give Zhongli levels of interruption resistance. That's what I want to emphasize on her own. But there was a... Did I do the challenge? I don't think I did the challenge emitter, right? Where was it? Did I do it already? Am I blind? No, it's right there. Okay, we need Yoshi. There it is. Anyways, yeah, Zilonen does more buffing than Zhongli, but is healing instead of shielding. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't like Zhongli for shielding. I use it for Polearms Only for Overworld because, you know, still he's really nice, and I'd rather use him than like Yao Yao or Mika. Go figure, as far as like especially the Overworld experience goes. Because it's nice to not have to deal with dying, and I don't want to have to deal with whatever. Like, he's a valuable unit to have. He's a nice, comfortable unit. But where the heck is a Yoshi here? I need a Yoshi. I know I dropped one on the ground a little bit ago, but oh, there's a Yoshi. But yeah, I don't. The way that Yao Yao and Mika heal is not And they don't do enough in conjunction for me to like have them as universal units to keep my team alive. Compared to Zhongli on a Polearm Only account, right? So he's valuable, right? He just definitely is going to lose a lot of his value as, you know. God, hello, help. What? Okay, that works, I guess. There we go. Okay, I figured it out. Slam. Alright, there we go. Jesus. He's definitely going to lose a bit of value relative to Zilonen, in my opinion, because he just doesn't do that much other than his defensive utility and his a little bit of buffing, right, with his 20% res shred from his shield. So, you know, like, I do think Zhongli is still better than Kachina, because res shred plus giving a construct, right, and like being able to do tenacity buff or whatever is still not nothing. But compared to Zilonen, it's like it's not even really that close as far as buffing goes. So, and both of them keep you alive. So I don't know. You know, you choose how valuable is the shielding to you. Zilonen generates a crystallize, by the way. I forgot to finish that thought. Zilonen generates a crystallize by necessity. You have to do that if you want the damage buff for the artifact set, right? So, therefore, she will generate one crystallized shield, and that is one instance of interruption in the duration the shield lasts, which is 10 seconds. So, you know, technically, I do wish to acknowledge, by nature of how Zilonen's kit works, you will be triggering crystallize, and you should be getting normally one shield. Sometimes you will trigger crystallize though on like a boss that has, you know, it's a fat boss that blocks you from being able to actually pick up the crystallize sometimes, so it's not going to be always, but it is sometimes going to be valuable. Anyways,
Let's hope you put up a good fight.
yeah, all I can say is on my main account, especially Zilonen, will give me even more reason to never get Zhongli. I already really didn't particularly care for him for his base supportive utility because of my dislike of shielders. But alright, we're now kind of just transitioning to the Fatui area naturally. How many? I didn't even look at how many. It's gonna. I don't know if we're gonna. I don't know. It might be doable to get another Oculus. How many primogems do we actually have to get to? How many achievements do I have? A bunch apparently. I think this quest line is gonna give us like at least 80 primogems when we go to the Fatui area. Claim that. Claim that. Alright. We have 882 primogems. That's halfway to a sixth wish. We have 5 plus 7. So we need 400 primogems. Alright. That's our target. We need 1280 primogems. Alright. 400 more primos. Is that doable? That's doable. No, Zilonen is not a Polearm. We're just talking about Zilonen because she's releasing soon. And she's a fairly significant character. It's very possible she represents a...
An impressive bounty.
She might be the lion in representing quite significant power level increase on average for 5-star characters. It would not surprise me. And it does not, right? Like, I think it's relatively telling that they are increasing the base scaling of Abyss HP in version 5.1 at the same time, you know, of Zilonen's release. Weird. The base scaling of HP is going to be higher. I sincerely wish they would, you know, make just alternative content for option, like not make Abyss harder for the 36 starring, but just like give the option to make it harder. You know, but instead they're just making it harder. And who that bones over is not characters. They're not boning over players that, you know, have been playing a long time, that have the ability to progress their account and keep pace with, you know, potential difficulty increases that MiHoYo introduces with endgame content, right? They're not boning over players like me. I will be able to keep pace with it. But they are boning over anyone that's newer, right? Because the harder and harder they make, you know, the likes of the Abyss, right? The higher the baseline threshold is for like clearing the content, then the longer it will take a free-to-play account. We're talking about free-to-play things. The longer it will take a free-to-play account to get to the point of trying to catch up to an account like one of my accounts that has been playing for multiple years, right? I've had 2 years of being able to pull of collecting primo gems and from events and dailies and whatever, let alone Welkins, right? That any player starting now will not have. You did not play the game in the past, so therefore you would not have the time and ability to do that. So, yeah, like I don't know. Like they just seem like they're making the new player experience worse and worse. Is what it gives me the impression of, essentially. But not only just new player, but also like low investment players, right? Players that play more casually, that don't log in daily, that don't use their resin every day, kind of thing. So, yeah, or you just pay money and it's not an issue. Yay. If you just resin refresh every day, you know, when you need to farm for things, there's basically no resin cap. Lol. Yay. No, but no, fundamentally though, yes, spending money, if you're like that's one thing that people I think also forget, is that in comparing like accounts that have spent money to accounts that have not spent money, the people that have spent money tend to be more dedicated with playing the game recurringly in general, right? Like if you're buying Welkins, you're probably much more motivated to log on to the game daily to claim your Welkins, and you're also probably going to spend your resin daily, right? Whereas an account that's fully free to play, you're just like, I don't care about the 60 primos today, right? But you're also, if you do, you know, if you say, I don't care about the 60 primos today for a month in a year, right? That's also a month worth of resin that you, like, could have used to level up things, right? Whereas the player that is buying the Welkins then they're going to be logged on and they're going to be using their resin, right? The Welkins doesn't give them extra resin, but it might make you use extra resin that you would not have if you hadn't been spending any money. So, again, like, resin is the actual, how much resin you have spent is a much more accurate measure of how your account is compared to another account than have you spent money. Have you spent money can affect things, but you can also spend money in this game, and like, right, if you can spend money in this game, get many more characters than, you know, a free-to-play player might be able to get, but it doesn't give you more, getting more characters does not give you more resin to build those characters, right? So like that's a problem I saw in Wuthering Waves especially, where I had a lot of characters to build, but not enough resources to build the different characters that I was interested in building, and it just felt like my resources were forever split between too many different things. I could never, like, just focus, like, it was just impossible to focus down. And yeah, no, it was weird, because like it didn't feel like, even though I bought the battle pass in Wuthering Waves, it didn't feel like I had enough resources still to, like, meaningfully, like, build the things I wanted to build. So, anyways, yes, this is C6 Arlecchino on Polearms Only.
Looks like I went too far.
Oh yeah, I guess I'll talk to the Saurians. I did talk to the Saurians in my... Go watch my... If you want to actually, like, see my experience of exploring Natlan for the first time in a condensed form, go watch my dang 100%ing Natlan video. I think it was a fun video. I spent a lot of friggin' time on it. But anyways, what am I? I don't know what I was saying. I feel like I went on the tangents of all tangents. I mostly ignored chat for like it's like an hour. It feels like. Yeah, we have C5 Raiden still. We will get to a 5-star, not today, probably. Unless to get to a 5-star today, we'd have to get like a silly number, or we'd have to get in early because we're at 60 pity. Or we would have to get a, quite frankly, silly number of 4 stars that gave us free wishes, like wish refunds, right? But I do think if we get a 70 pity today, then the next stream we should be able to get to pity. Hopefully. We'll see. Where's this? Hold on. How do you think these Fatui feel about seeing Arlecchino stomp into their base and murdering the hell out of them? They're just like, what the hell did we do wrong? They were just following orders. So Arlecchino was supposedly doing some operation with her children here. So, you know, I'd assume the Fatui here know about Arlecchino going on here. Is this a flavor fail? Is Arlecchino running this operation? And this is just a flavor fail? Using Arlecchino here? I don't know. Why C6 Raiden if you already dislike C6 Xilonen? This is a Polearms Only account. It's a very different context. Also, it's because we wound up, like, I don't know how many times do I had to explain myself. Go rewind. But I didn't try to get C5 Raiden. The reason I have C5 Raiden is because of 4 stars. Not because I was like, I need C5 Raiden. Oh, I love Raiden. Oh, best waifu. No, we just wound up with C5 Raiden because of circumstances. So, yeah. I don't care about C6 Raiden. C6 Raiden is not very good. If we lose the 50-50, we lose the 50-50. But we're at C5 Raiden, and I have the ability to get to pity. Would it not be stupid on it? Like, I do make videos in this game. It's a fun thing as a goal motivator to just see if we get it, right? Like, it'd be silly not to see if we can get it when on a freaking Polearms Only account. But no, I don't intend to go for any C6s on my main account. Probably, realistically, ever. The only C6 I think that would be actually meaningfully fun for me would be C6 Farina. But also C6 Farina is... Oops. C6 Farina, I thought that would disappear, that's why I got confused. Is extraordinarily overpowered, and because of the fact that I use Farina for many a video, and I already have Farina C2, I don't want to. And I also don't want to spend money for it either. That just feels shit. I didn't spend money for C2 Farina, I don't want to spend a single dime on Farina, you know. I feel so much more comfortable using C2 Farina in my videos compared to like using the likes of C2 Nahida, because I didn't spend any money for C2 Farina. I didn't. So, okay, other than Welkins. Welkins do technically count as spending money. So, asterisk, I guess. But, the lesson is the same. You can save up a lot of wishes, and you can achieve things like C2s, but if I start using, you know, a bunch of C2s in conjunction without, like, powering down characters, and I still power down characters with Farina C2. I still keep Farina powered down, usually, because she doesn't need to be that strong to succeed. So, anyways. Should go C6 Xiao, because he offers a different playstyle in C6. Not really, in my opinion. Like, ooh, you zoop on the ground a little bit with C6. Whee! And also, I don't know, I still, like, fundamentally hate that Xiao doesn't generate energy in his burst. It annoys the hell out of me. So, I don't know. I mean, obviously, with his C6... I didn't realize she was low health. Or did something else kill her? Was she that low of health? I must have stood in the lava or something. No, I don't care. But anyways. No, I will never go for C6 Xiao, I'm sorry. Well, okay. Asterisks. If they were... Frick me. I keep on seeing the sparkles and clicked it again. If they ever release... You know, a Chevreuse level 4-star, right? For Polearms Only, and they happen to run on Xiao banner, well, then maybe we do end up with C6 Xiao. In the same vein as how I might end up with C6 Raiden, right? Because I never planned to get C6 Raiden, but maybe it'll happen anyways, because LOL, Polearms Only, that's how it goes apparently. I need to go clean up this thing. But I'm not going to plan to do it, and I'm certainly not doing it on my main account. I think C6 Shenhe is the only really truly interesting one that I think could be super fun to mess around with, and most people wouldn't care that I would have it. And it also doesn't make... C6 Shenhe also works in a way that it isn't like, oh my god, it's so overpowered that it makes like a crazy difference. Except like the times where C6 Shenhe makes a meaningful difference is times where it's fairly obvious that it makes a meaningful difference. So it's not like a situation where it's like, oh, I gotta power down my, teams. Like I think I'm going to try to get Zilonen C2 because of the electro part, the burst cooldown reduction, energy refunding aspect of Zilonen C2. There's so many fun things I have in my head that I can mess around with, different units I enjoy playing. Like literally her C2 will enable me to play conceptually different teams. And like that's just fun to me, right? So I'm gonna go for it, I think. But it's gonna be so freaking annoying because I'm gonna have to power down my characters. like if I use Zilonen with Arlecchino, which is an example, right? Zilonen with Arlecchino and Zilonen C2 gives 45% attack. Well, that's about as much attack as an attack timepiece does. So what I'm going to have to do to power down, characters like Arlecchino when I start using Zilonen with C2 in my videos is I'm going to be like, all right, well, I guess, I don't even have one in the scout, but, I guess HP or def percent timepiece it is, right? Like, that's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to start farming for the wrong main stats of artifacts, specifically for the purpose of powering down units when I pair them with Zilonen. For my videos. Like, it's so awful. It's actually awful. Yeah, using 1-star weapons. No, 1-star weapons would be more powering down, I think, than Zilonen C2. Like, don't overestimate what Zilonen C2 is doing, right? I just have to try to remove approximately the same number of stats that Zilonen C2 gives. It's just so annoying. It would be a no-brainer for me to go for it just for the fun of it if I could turn off constellations. But instead it's going to be like I very well might enjoy Zilonen C2 in a lot of ways, and then in the long term it would not surprise me at all if I get extremely annoyed by it, by how often I feel the need to power down things to get a more proper estimate for how the character would feel with certain characters, right? So anyways, and also Zilonen C2, if I get it, is going to be a situation of like, at minimum like Farina, where I probably will wait a whole ass patch at least before I activate it, which is going to hurt me a little bit because like I want to mess around with that C2 so bad. There's like, oh man, like something silly, something as simple as like double like burst DPS Kuki, right? But now I can do multiple bursts in a rotation with Kuki. Seems so friggin' fun. Oh, like I want to do it. Like I wish, I so badly... The dude just disappeared for a little second there. I so badly wish Zilonen C2 was in her base kit and then the red shred was in her C2. That would make her so much more unique and interesting of a buffer for her base kit, in my opinion. Ow. What you doing, bozo? Anyways. You don't need to do that. It's enough to say that Zilonen is C2. In my opinion, it is not enough to just say it, because people don't know how to do the math, right? People will watch the video and they're not going to be like, all right, yeah, or they're not going to have the intuition or experience watching. I'm not going to assume my viewers, like some of them will, to be clear, obviously. But like, I'm not going to assume all my viewers have the ability to, oh, I forgot, where do you give the thing for this? Yeah, I'm not going to assume that every viewer watching has the ability to intuitively understand, okay, if I don't have Zilonen C2 on this account and I want to do the same team that Saluna is using in his videos, how will it perform for me? Will I still be able to clear? Like, anyone with a meaningful amount of experience playing the game and like thinking about the game's mechanics and knows how all the things work would be able to estimate that themselves and know like seeing how a team performed for me on my videos would a similar situation but without the constellation be able to perform perfectly fine for them too. Yes. Like an experienced player would be able to. But non-experienced players that don't have that intuition, don't have that understanding of the balance of different stats in the game might just see Zilonen C2 and be like, oh, this is just a whale doing things I'll never be able to achieve. When ultimately all it might be is that, oh, my Arlecchino went from, with Zilonen C2, my Arlecchino goes from, you know, let's say 80,000 damage on her like non-vaped hits to 90,000 damage. Is that significant? Yes. But is that extra 10,000 damage the difference? And I don't know if it's, I'm just throwing a number out there. By the way, this isn't me doing calcs. I'm just throwing a number out as a point of comparison in that it would increase her damage, right? Is that extra attack stat increasing Arlecchino's damage by 10,000 for that instance of damage? Or, you know, obviously more than that, potentially, depending on what's going on in the team. Is that the difference maker between clearing or not, right? That's always what I try to emphasize, but ultimately part of the reason I'm going for Zilonen C2 is because I think it's fun enough that it is a rare 5-star constellation that could be worthwhile to purposely try to get. I don't think, it will do enough interesting things that I think it's one of the ones that I could think is compelling to save for. Just like Farina C2, if you're actually doing things with Farina C2, could be compelling to save for, right? Oh, there's the hook. But it depends on what you want to do with it specifically, right? So, anyways, yoink. Ooh. Yoink. There we go. That's kind of funny. All right. So yeah, like I personally feel the need, is my point, to power down my characters when I have constellations. And there's certain ones, like I at this point I can pretty solidly say I regret Nahida C2. One, because it was a waste of money. It was just unnecessary. Two, because Nahida C2 is really hard to power down. Like Zilonen C2 at least like gives it amount of stats in a way. It's like, okay, use the wrong main stat timepiece, right? Like that's what I'll have to do for Pyro units, Hydro units to power them down with Zilonen C2. Use the wrong timepiece. And then the cryo buff is like, okay, Geo units is like use a different elemental goblet, right? What is the cryo buff is 60% crit damage, right? Yeah, so like use a different circlet, right? Or use a non-crit circlet kind of thing, whatever, right? It's not that hard to power down Zilonen C2 for this, the way it gives. Oh, frick me, I'm stupid. I didn't grab the thing. I forgot that's what I had to do. It's not that hard, right? With Zilonen C2 versus like Nahida C2 doing Death Shred. God, it's impossible. Like I'd have to actually do calculations every single time if I was going to try to purposely power down Nahida C2 in a team and figure out like how much damage increase it does for different units. Just bringing Electro, like as like the only way, the way to not the way I've been like, you know, using Nahida C2 in my videos is like, if Electro is present, I'm just like, yeah, Nahida C2 does a bunch. I'm not going to try to power things down with Nahida. I'm just going to avoid using her, quite frankly, with Electro, at least, in teams where it seems like it's making a difference or not. But anyways, yap. Point is, constellations, most of them have not felt very worthwhile to me. Is my general experience. Most of the high investment things on any individual basis on my main account have not individually felt worthwhile, right? If I go and test, you know, alright, how does this character perform without this weapon that I have? How do they perform with a battle pass weapon? How do they perform with a non-battle pass weapon? How do they perform if I power things down to simulate not having this constellation? I have always been able to be successful in like every instance of testing those things. Like they do a good job balancing characters such that you don't really have to feel the need to get weapons and constellations, generally speaking. I will say the one exception. And this is the number one thing that makes like that I do think I was wrong about Emily and her weapon. Because Emily's burst ended up being far more relevant than I expected, ended up being much stronger than I expected. There ended up being much more use cases for wanting to just burst constantly than I expected. And Emily's lack of compelling weapon options that enable that without sacrificing other aspects of her kit, like without, you can do an emblem build, which I tested, and it can work and can be viable, but you're sacrificing a lot of like skill damage for that, which is a lot of her damage contribution, right? This is the no compromises weapon. It really feels like they kind of balanced a lot of how this character functions around her weapon existing. So when Emily reruns, I'm probably going to make a video basically being like, Emily is great. She's actually one of my favorite characters they've released in quite a while. I think you should probably only plan to get her if you think you can get her weapon as well. That's my current stance on Emily, actually, which is really unfortunate. She's the only character I feel that way about. But like, she feels meaningfully different to use with or without this weapon. So, but the fact that it's easier to get then, now, is like, yeah, and to be clear, you can definitely still make use of Emily. It's not that hard to make use of Emily without her weapon. But she feels different. That's what I would say. So, any other character you think Emily's weapon's worth using on? Not really. Well, okay. I'm gonna try it on Shenhe with a weird burn melt Shenhe DPS, like hybrid Shenhe DPS. I think it might be the best weapon for hybrid Shenhe DPSing her. But that's an extremely niche scenario, and just something you do because you like really think Shenhe is you like Shenhe, and you want to do goofy infusion shenanigans with Shenhe, with C6 Bennett infusion, whatever, right? Oh, there it is. Gimme. How do I get back up here? It's just like this. Oop, there we go. Alright. Can she not work with Fab? She can, but you're sacrificing a lot of damage. The difference between a Fab build on Emily that can burst consistently and this weapon build that can burst consistently is quite significant. She feels different. How important that will be in a given team is it depends, right? Again, like if your damage is enough to clear, right, it's fine. Like you don't need her weapon, obviously, but her weapon makes it so that you don't need to build her in a specific way. You don't need to like build her with Fab to be able to burst every rotation. You don't need to build extra energy recharge. You don't need to do a catch emblem build like I tested. She can be plenty viable without her weapon, but like it's the universal no compromises option for her that just it gives her so much more flexibility to adapt to different things going on by being able to freely cast this low cooldown burst more aggressively, and like in a way that all I can say is I felt the difference in many a situation of having that weapon. Where's the freaking key? I think this one was hidden somewhere. I don't remember exactly where. There's an Oculus. Oh yeah, there is. Almost missed that. Okay, I do need to go on this magic cover ride, but I think we can go after we leave. Also, where's the dude? Anyways, where the heck is the key? I feel like I missed the key. There we go. Do you think your weapon is good because of damage or because you can relocate her skill? Both. But also definitely relocating her skill. Like she has this, C1 kind of fixes this as well, to be clear. Kind of. But a big problem is the fact that this lets her relocate her skill. And I originally thought this wasn't going to be a problem because like, oh, you can use just you can use her skill. The duration is 22 seconds. Her skill itself is 14 seconds. You can just use her skill to relocate her skill, right? Except recasting her skill loses her level 2, right? She goes back down to level 1. And at C0, she takes like you need to have burning going on for a not insignificant amount of time. to be able to maintain, or to be able to get up to level 2. So if you're recasting your skill constantly, you need to like have burning going on for a few seconds again to get her back up to level 2. What her burst lets you do is her burst lets you store, it saves whatever state it was in. It would stay whenever you cast your burst, it consumes her lamp, but then it puts her lamp back down at level 2. Unlike when you recast her skill, it puts it to level 1. So you don't need to do that build up time again. And that's also pretty important. Like you can just you can literally have teams that would actually not work for Emily to maintain her damage output without using her burst consistently, right? And again, you can do a using her burst consistently build without her weapon, but it's at the sacrifice of a lot of potential skill damage. But you need to like be able to, if you can just use her burst, right? You can do situations like say the Sijuin Farina team that I played. Being able to use her burst consistently in that team to maintain the level 2 means I don't have to worry about in subsequent rotations anything other than just making sure I cast Emily's burst at the right times again to maintain her level 2 status. I don't actually have to worry about triggering burning every 8 seconds. Well, no, you still want to trigger burning every 8 seconds, but it triggers often enough that it's like pretty trivial in conjunction with being able to burst consistently. Whereas like having to recast your skill would mean having to do specific things or having to like work around weird variants in like AoE situations too a little bit. But anyways, I don't know. It's hard to describe. It's something I've gotten very much a feel for as I've tested different things with the character. But oh, you have to beat the agent to spawn the key. I see. Hey, an achievement. Also, he died in a puddle. Yeah, she's a very interesting character. But I don't know. They specifically made her skill like this aspect of casting her skill and then it taking a meaningful amount of time to get to level 2. Kind of weirdly clunky. I think it's really dumb that she doesn't maintain her like when the duration hasn't ended naturally, right? It's still there, it's still going, and you just recast it. It should maintain its level 2, right? That's my opinion, right? It should do the same thing as the burst does, where when you cast the burst, it maintains whatever level it was at. That is literally the difference maker, in my opinion, between how significant her weapon can feel, because it's what gives her burst that additional level of utility. And I think that was a purposeful decision on a balancing level. I get it. It's an interesting nuance to think about, but I need the Yoshi. It's still awkward in many contexts if you don't have her weapon. So, anyways, you can definitely make use of her without the weapon, but she is a meaningfully. She feels different. She feels like a better character with it. That's for dang sure. Yeah, there we go. Aren't you supposed to run out of this as soon as you leave? As soon as it... No, that might be a different quest I'm remembering. I thought this one like it's supposed to like fill up with lava or something after. I don't know. We'll find out. We are at 60 pity. And we are, I don't know. I don't know if I would say we're close to a temple, but. Yeah. I switch carries? Oh, good. Okay. And my Emily, by the way, in Polearms Only is C1, so she gains her level on her skill very fast. So again, like having C1 or her weapon mitigates, I think, her issue significantly. With the clunkiness of recasting her skill specifically. But her weapon is more valuable, I think, in general. Because of how her burst itself can have other value other than just the resetting the skill thing. It can fix the clunkiness problem and do other valuable things. Arlecchino C1 or R1 better? C1 vastly. Arlecchino's weapon is kind of garbage, honestly. As far as signature weapons go, it's extremely meh. Rip. C2 Arlecchino or R1? Probably C2. C2 Arlecchino gives her more enjoyable, like, I think people at C0 and C1 Arlecchino underestimate how enjoyable it is to like, use Arlecchino's burst smartly to reset her skill at the right times. Okay, this is not flooding. Oh yeah, the Nightshade thing. Right. Like being able to save Arlecchino's burst not just for healing but also resetting her skill cooldown. Gives her this really enjoyable dynamic that depending on like new waves of enemy spawning is really enjoyable. But her C2 gives her even more strength. Like the damage the C2 provides is like, yeah, an additional instance of like a big multiplier that you can trigger, vaporize, melt, or whatever on, right? But the ability to absorb, like when you put her marks on enemies, to not need to wait for 5 seconds, gives her more options in how you rotate with different teams and gives you more reason to do bursts and then do her E again and then absorb immediately, such that like it can actually like weirdly sneakily result in better performance and like a different feel of how she is to play, I guess, maybe more specifically, because of like you can kind of like min-max like where her like bond of life state is at, I think, with her C2, by abusing that cooldown reset and being able to immediately absorb bond without having to wait 5 seconds for it. Wherein before C2, if you use her burst at the wrong time, you just might lose a meaningful amount of damage. So I don't know. It makes her overall easier to play realistically, and in a way that I think is almost less engaging, arguably, too. Like, I don't want Arlecchino C2 on my main account. I got an accidental C1, and I've enjoyed having a C1. It's fun. You know, it's nice making her stronger, but definitely unnecessary. And the interruption resistance is nice too, and all that. But it's just yeah, I don't know. Arlecchino's a really strong character to baseline, so she feels very unnecessary to do anything crazy high investment on her, realistically. C1 though, the value of that interruption resistance is, I think, meaningful to many players, and I have felt it too. I think one problem I should try to remember when if I play Arlecchino in videos in the future, right? Which I don't. I oftentimes do use her in videos just randomly, but not like as the focus of the video, so I don't think it matters. But having to remember that, you know, I have mostly gotten used to the fact that Arlecchino doesn't get interrupted while whacking on her, and with C1. And there are circumstances, like if you're whacking on Arlecchino with a Ruin Guard, the Ruin Guard will clap and smack Arlecchino and interrupt her at C0, right? So like you have to dodge with Arlecchino C0 if you don't want to be interrupted. And I think that's perfectly fine. But a way to, you know, show Arlecchino being Arlecchino at C1 performing more like an Arlecchino C0 is to still dodge, right? I should remember to do that in videos more potentially, but it's also not that important, I feel like. But yeah, C2 and C1 Arlecchino make Arlecchino a lot stronger. I can tell you, like I did when we got C6 Arlecchino, right? I didn't activate any of Arlecchino's constellations until I got her C6. And then I did like multiple hours of like testing constellations as I activated them, and I definitely felt the increase of C1, like the damage increase of C1 and the damage increase of C3 felt pretty similar, but C1 gives the interruption resistance, and that's more valuable, obviously. And then C2 like gave new mechanical things to do, which is meaningful. So like I definitely felt the increase of this, and then anything after C3 was just like, okay, like I barely felt any difference from Arlecchino C6, like the crit value it gives, as far as the damage increase goes. So, yeah. How we're using Chevy on this account? Have you seen how many Pyro Polearms there are in the game? How am I using Chevreuse on this account? Oops. I wonder. I almost have the ability to do 2 full Chevreuse teams. If they release Chevreuse 2, I can do 2 Chevreuse teams. So, in what team? In any team that's using an Electro or Pyro DPS. So, you know, usually it would be like something like if it's Arlecchino on field, it'd be like Raiden as the off-field Electro. Got to trigger some overloads, right? Raiden, Arlecchino, Chevreuse, Zhongli would be the strongest variation, right? If I'm doing Raiden on field, then it'd be like Toma, Zhongli, Chevreuse, right? Anyways, I think we're done with this plateau. Right? Yeah, we are. And we finished the Fatui thing. And that, give you 4 of those. Hey, we got another level in that. Nice. Okay, 994. Not bad. I think, yeah, we can get to a temple. Stream might go a little bit long because of this, but I feel like we can get a temple. Have I not gotten a single ring yet? I feel like I should have gotten a ring for the chests I got so far, but oh well. Not that important. Is staff better than best in slot in her vape teams? No, Arlecchino's weapon is her best in slot. I didn't say it's not her best in slot. Generally speaking, for basically any Arlecchino team, it's going to be her best in slot. They've made the passive of this weapon work in a pretty specific way to very specifically be good on very specifically Arlecchino. It is her best weapon. The problem is, like, Homa exists and Jade Spear exists, both as, like, very compelling options that this weapon is only, like, a little bit better than. A little bit. A little bit. And, like, the cost of getting a 5-star weapon is relatively high compared to the increase it gives you, right? It doesn't meaningfully change how she plays. It doesn't, like, it's just a little bit of a DPS increase for her. If you don't have any 5-star weapon for her, right, you just have deathmatch for her, or whatever else going on, you know, you will notice the increase much more, but you will also notice the increase from deathmatch, particularly like an R1 deathmatch, or like a white tassel, right? Whatever lower investment option you have. You'll notice the difference from a deathmatch or a white tassel to a Jade Spear build, and you will also notice the difference between a white tassel to this weapon build. Like, both of them will feel a similar amount improved, and this one will feel slightly better. But, like, yeah. So, anyways, if you have no other 5-star options, no generic stat stick options, yeah, like Staff of Scarlet Sands is also a generic good stat stick option for her. So, anyways. Double carries Raiden's best in slot, but isn't it Arlecchino's? What? I don't know what that question means. Skyward Spine worth using for the high base attack? I think this question is very short, by the way. Yes, maybe, but the problem is Arlecchino basically almost never needs to be built. Like her burst is very useful to use satisfyingly, but very rarely do you need to build extra ER on Arlecchino to burst consistently. The only times I have found that you want to burst consistently with Arlecchino is if you're doing like Burge and Arlecchino, notably. Because Burge and Arlecchino takes a meaningful amount of self-damage. So I do think Skyward becomes a compelling option if you're doing something like burning Burgeon with her, where you're taking some amount of self-damage, and self-damage enables Marasasi Hunters. But since she can't heal from anyone else, she's going to be taking enough damage. Not an insane amount of damage usually, but, you know, if she's taking self-damage, you may as well use Marasasi's. And if you're using Martial Says, having a non-crit weapon is not nearly as bad, right? But then you need to be able to heal consistently, right? Is the number one thing. And it's the same thing, like, that's the problem with, like, using Farina with Arlecchino, is you need to be able to heal consistently on Arlecchino, otherwise you're losing meaningful value from Farina herself. So, you know, the point is there's use cases. There is situations where you'd want to burst consistently on Arlecchino, but not that many. And, like, I don't think Virgin Arlecchino, I found Virgin Arlecchino fun, but it's not, generally speaking, a default recommendation for her, in my opinion. But it is a way to get use out of her. In ways that... It's an example of, like, Arlecchino being useful in ways that most people probably don't realize, and an example of her team versatility. Where's the things? Collect the scattered star shards. Where... I could have sworn they were, like, on the wall or something. I did this quest in my main account. I just don't remember. What am I doing? I'm on the ceiling. I am stuck. I am trying to push different directions. I can't get off. I am stuck. Oh, there we go. Oh god, what is happening? Jesus. Oh, there's a Lux chest. I don't know if I got that on my main account. I might have actually missed that. Hey, I got a ring. I just complained about that. Nice. Okay, where? No, like, where are they? Though. They're in the grate. Oh, I have to hit the rock. I see. That's what I forgot. Can I go underground? Oh, I have no floaty stone. God dang it. Blam. I forgot. See, that's what I remembered. I remembered the things on the wall. That's why I was confused. Okay, one there, one there. I think there's just the two. No, we're not at C6. We're still trying to get to pity. We're getting close to... Not doing single pulls. We're doing a 10 pull. Can I get out? Alright. Here you go. Ah, frick, there's another one. Oops. Oh my god, can I press the right buttons? I don't know what my fingers are doing there. The Q key is nowhere near the T key. Where's the last one? There it is. Sneaky. Yay. Oops. The number one reason I always think there is to not get weapons, by the way, that are just like okay improvements over existing options. Can I exit, please? Thank you. This is, I don't know why. It's something about this Saurian is the most jank one to use always for me. Is like comparing could you like that might be a motivating reason. Like, let's say the alternative of, like, let's say you have a good gladiator set for your Arlecchino, right? But oh, you know, the Whimsy set with the same stats could be like 10% better. I don't know exactly what it is, stat for stat. I can't remember. Go check KQM or something if you want the exact stats. But right, oh, it could be 10-ish% better on Whimsy. Well, and her weapon can also be 10% better for her. So if you're in a situation where, like, you have something that is freely accessible but would just take a lot of time, like if you're really that dedicated to Arlecchino that you think you would need her weapon, then, you know, maybe you're also dedicated enough to just farm for the artifacts to get that damage improvement instead. But anyways, the real reason people get Arlecchino's weapon is because, ooh, it's a scythe. I think it being a scythe and having a cool effect on her is just a nice bonus of the weapon, ultimately. It is not really a compelling reason to get it. But, you know. Anyways. just press E. Jeez, I swear I was trying to press E to exit the dinosaur. Or jump down or whatever. We have, I think, like 40 sigils right now. I think we should be able to get to a 70 pity this stream. That is the plan. To end at 70 pity. Counter argument, Scythe is cool. Yep, but how much would you care if they didn't shove it in your goddamn face all the time? That's my counter argument. How much would you care if it didn't show up in your face all the goddamn time? Right? They didn't do this all the damn time. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they have internal data that, like, this feature, making weapons show up in your face all the time, has gotten them millions of dollars. Like, it's some hardcore... It's one of the most predatory things about this game, unironically, I think. It is shoving the, hey, you don't have the 5-star weapon in your face all the damn time. So, anyways, it's a fun bonus to her, to getting her weapon if you like the character a lot. It is not a reason to get the weapon, in my opinion.
Solidify.
But if you like the character enough that, you know, you just want to get the weapon because it looks cool and it is her best weapon, you know, do it, right? Like just acknowledge what you're sacrificing, right? I win for it on Polearms Only because it's a Polearm Only account. How could I not try to get the silly cool scythe weapon on a Polearm Only account, right? But it's a Polearm Only account. I can do decisions that are less efficient, right? Because I do not need those resources for the future. I don't need to save my Primo Gems for relevant supportive units for whatever reason that would enable stronger teams. Like the value per wish given for getting a Zilonen would be much higher than the value per wish of getting this weapon, right? Essentially, is what it is. But if you're at an investment level when you love Arlecchino enough that come her rerun, and you don't care about the Pyro Archon releasing, you just want to make Arlecchino herself stronger, and you want hey, it gets a cool scythe along with it. You don't do it, right? Like, do whatever you want. Just acknowledge that you are doing that at the cost of sacrificing, you know, potentially getting characters that could be better for, like characters that could enable new, stronger Arlecchino teams, right? Now, that's what you need to acknowledge. It's just worse than other potential options. Yay. Can I? Okay, it was just frozen there for like 5 seconds. All right. Weird. Let me out. Let me out. Oh my god. Yeah, this thing, like, the animation for it getting out of the ground, I feel like, is too long, right? So what happens is, like, I spam E, because, like, it's like E, and then it doesn't feel like, because I don't think it's necessarily the animation's too long. I think the animation when you're doing this, no, okay, that got out immediately there. I don't know. I swear to God, sometimes it does not feel like it goes out of the ground when it should. And then I end up spamming it, and then go onto the ground immediately again, and I can't exit because you can only exit when he's not underground, and he has to not be like in his E animation either. Like if holding Q to exit it canceled the going underground, it wouldn't be a problem, I feel like. But anyways, I don't know. That creature feels clunky. That's all I can say. So your Chevreuse build, I basically on both my accounts I have switched to using a Song of Days Past Chevreuse build. I was using No Blast for a while on both on this account and my main account, but yeah, Song of Days Past 40k. It's with a healing focus build, right? So healing bonus, and then having some HP in substats, and I like having a little bit of ER, specifically for being able to just burst consistently in situations where the front loaded her amount of pyro application she can have from her burst is significant enough, especially in conjunction with the fact that with her C4, after using her burst, you can do three skills on her. It means you can like front load a lot of pyro application that can kind of wreck some shields. It can be very strong, and I like just having that available, but it's definitely not necessary to build extra energy on her for that purpose, really. I just like it, and she doesn't need that many stats other than just reaching 40k HP for max attack bonus for this passive, right? You need to hit 40k HP for this. And then this is just a set that will give some amount of buffing, right? To the on-fielder from the healing that Chevreuse does. And Chevreuse with C6 basically maxes this out. Oh, well, no. With her first few instances of healing, she does not max it out in the first time she procs it in a rotation, but she procs this set bonus 2 times per rotation. She will max it out the second time because of her C6. So without her C6, she will, like, a 40k build, a 40k HP build with a healing bonus circlet, like I have, will, I believe, do like 12,000 out of the max 15,000 healing, if I recall, approximately. Depends on your talent level, obviously. It's enough still to like be a meaningful buff. Part of the reason I have switched her to using that, though, is because I have often found, both on my main account and this account, that I end up using a noblesse build on some other character on the team. Like, say, on my main account, it'd be, say, Bennett, right? On this account, it tends to be Toma on a noblesse build. So, obviously, noblesse does not stack, so using Chevreuse on noblesse and Toma on noblesse is pointless, right? But also using noblesse on Chevreuse is a little bit annoying because it forces you to use a burst every rotation to get the buff. So anyways, I like Song of Days Past on her. You can definitely do a DPS build as an alternative too with C4 in some situations that might actually make sense. I have enjoyed doing a DPS build on her, but my default build is that build now. Let's go do this plateau, I guess, and then we can switch over to this heckin' mess of an area. Maybe we should do the... I don't know, what do you think, Chad? Temple or the Tetapak... I can't say that word, whatever. This plateau, this peak area, or the temple area first? Which one? We'll do this first, though. Go get that waypoint. Tic-tac peak, yeah. How much worse is Deepwood for Emily? I'm assuming you're asking. If Deepwood for Emily is extremely close to the burning side for her, if no one else is on Deepwood on the team, and even with someone else on Deepwood on the team, boy, it ain't that significant. That's my vibe. If you already have good Deepwood pieces, I would just use the Deepwood you have on Emily. Like I was actually, one of the interesting things I think I was able to test, you can go look at like some past Emily streams I did, but on this account, I actually, because I have farmed a lot of this set, I happened to have a Deepwood build that had a very, very similar stat balance, an extremely similar overall stat balance, to the burning set build. Like, I think the only meaningful difference was the amount of crit rate I had was less on the Deepwood build. The crit rate doesn't affect the number you actually see when you crit. It just affects your average damage. And we were able to see that it was extremely similar. So, you know. And what was particularly surprising is I thought there would be I also tested that after getting C2, right? And C2 gives Dendro Res Shred, right? And Dendro Res Shred will make less of it, like the more Res Shred you have, the less significant any individual increase in Res Shred is, right? So there should have been a bigger difference. There's a larger difference basically between there is a larger difference between this artifact set on Emily and having no Deepwood on the team other than like Emily herself potentially, right? So no Deepwood on this team, for example, right? This set there's a larger difference between this set and Deepwood stat for stat on Emily, with her C2, because C2 gives extra Dendro Res Shreds, right? But even with C2, when I was testing it, it was just like extremely similar. It was so close. How much ER does she need with the signature weapon? I mean, depending on who you ask and what team you're talking about and what situation you're against, 0 to however much you want. The reason I can't give you a specific answer for that is because like I actually do like having a little bit of ER with this signature weapon. The reason for that is like she definitely doesn't need ER in the context of like if you're just doing one burst per 20 seconds, right? But she has a 13.5 second burst cooldown, and I mean, this is one of those things where like if it's part of the reason her weapon feels so good on her is having that little bit of extra ER can let you potentially say burst again right off of that cooldown, right? And being able to do that, like if you kill a wave, like imagine you kill a wave of enemies, right, in about 14 seconds, right? Well, having a little bit of extra energy to let you burst again to like reset Emily's position of her thing, wherever like a new wave of enemies spawns, is something you can feel the difference of in having that ability. So I like having extra ER on her for that extra utility. And do not mind sacrificing a little bit. Like on my main account, I switched from I think a flower that had like 16% attack in it. So it was meaningfully better for Emily's average damage. To a flower that had like 16% ER instead. It was a similar amount of crit value, but more ER, right, and much less attack. So a meaningfully worse piece as far as Emily's like damage output goes, in a normal sense. But the fact that it gave me more freedom, like that extra 16 ER put me from 105 ER to 120 ER, I did feel a difference in being able to burst more freely, like, and like use her burst more freely for resetting the position and whatever, right? But I have enjoyed that build more, so. But if you go to like a cautious CV and look at the rankings for Emily builds, there's literally no like ER is a dead stat from their calculations, which I think is stupid. I do not consider ER a dead stat on Emily, but you don't need to build her for ER. It's just weird. She's an interesting character as far as the nuance of her burst goes. How many primos do you have now? That many. 10,049. Actually a decent amount. And, okay. Correction. That many. So we need about 220 more.
Don't mind if I do.
Some of which we can get from the sigils. Rip. I feel like the quickest way is probably going to be to try to do a couple quests. Realistically, rather than focusing on just pure exploration. I mean, you do a lot of these Natlan quests. You do some exploration in conjunction with the quests, right? But actually, wait. We're much closer than I expected, because the next sigil level was a key, right? We can actually go get the key. I totally forgot I did that earlier. I totally forgot about that. I literally checked that earlier to try to remember that as a factor, and then totally forgot about it as a factor. So, we'll do that. So actually, this is gonna put us very, very close to the temple. All right, sweet. I was not confident going into this that we would be able to get a temple this stream, but we were. Not bad. Not as much, especially because I don't feel like we've actually done that much exploration. I mean, we've done a good amount, right? But I don't know. I think this is almost the most successful I've been at yapping and exploring at the same time. I don't know why. For some reason, my brain is just working better today, and not being able to explore while yapping. Oftentimes, when I yap, I start losing my focus where exploration goes. As far as exploration goes. This is Arlecchino C6. There's some goodies down here I haven't gotten. Look. Okay, we'll go try to get these. That's an exquisite chest. There's an exquisite chest down there as well. Okay, yeah, we'll go try to get these, I think. Oh, and right there, Jesus. Okay. Yeah, there's a bunch of them. We'll go get this shrine, and then we'll go get the chests in this little section here. And then we can start going back over here if need be. Go get your shrine. I know, Victor. I know. How many primos you have right now? We're getting very close to a temple. Very, very close. Oh, yeah, we're also going to get like 10 sigils, I think, from this. So that's actually going to give us another 50. Oh, okay. We might actually just get to a temple from this now I think about it. Because this might just give us enough sigils for another level. I think this gives us 10, right? Yeah, it gives us 10. Alright. See. Yeah, the balance of like how many primo gems you get for like time investment and exploration is so much better now. Like I don't think they really crazily, we did good enough for level, nice. I don't think they really truly crazy. Okay, we need 80 more primo gems. We'll get 50 from the sigil turn in. So that means we need a few more chests. Yeah, I don't think they crazily increased, right? The total number of like primo gems you get from exploration, but it feels so much better balanced, is what I would say, right? Like, you spend X amount of time, it feels like you get X amount of primo gems right now, in Natlan, versus like other areas. It's like it feels like you need to collect 1,000 sigils before you get to and then you get to level 10, and that's when you get the 2 wishes, like, and that's when it feels like it feels much more like linear, which I think is a good thing. But anyways, this has ER, so we'll lock it, I guess. Is there chest there? I'll double check quick. I don't see it. Oh, well, it was an Oculus, so good thing I went. Let me check. What is my Oculus at? 6? Alright. Boop. Would you use your fragiles on farming? I tend to... I think I used them a bunch for Kachina, if I recall. The ones I had before. When 5.0 came out, because, couldn't pre-farm for anything Kachina-wise. But I also have used many a fragile in the past for other characters, instances of, oh, I've got an artifact I really want to level up, and I don't have any XP to level up, I'll use a few fragiles for that, right? If I don't feel like there is a need to save for, like, because of inability to pre-farm for a future character or whatever, if I don't feel there's a need to save some fragiles, I will usually just use them. They are resin. And the resin doesn't do anything unless it's used. But you just gotta use it on whatever feels smart to use it on, right? Most commonly I use my fragiles on, like, boss farming runs. Is what I would say, though. Both on this account and my main account, I mean. Because boss fragiles is like, you were going to spend that resin anyways, right? To level up your character. So... it doesn't matter if it's resin that generated daily or not. Whereas like spending fragiles on artifact XP feels a bit less on artifact stuff feels a bit less valuable because artifacts are RNG. But I have used fragiles though to get a little bit of artifact XP to get that final level up of an artifact because of impatience, wanting to see what an artifact rolls like. Use the interactive map to get all the chests? No. Frick the interactive map. I hate the interactive map. No. Like, the interactive map, you're telling me to, like, have a less enjoyable gameplay experience. You're telling me to have a stream experience where, alright, guys, what we're gonna do is, alright, we're gonna go get this chest here. Alright, we got this chest. How exciting. Alright, we go, where's my browser? There's my browser. Let's go, here, let me open it up. Blam. Alright, we got that chest. How exciting, guys. It's really great content, I know, right?
You wish to report?
And then, alright, where's this chest? Oh, it's this chest here. Blam, mark is found. I'm not logged in. Mark is found. Alright, sweet. How exciting. Wow, progress. Alright, let's go back here. Go over here. Get the next chest. Oh, how exciting. Go back here. Go here. Go mark off another. No. 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 It's not fun. Like I don't know. I swear to God, like the interactive map feels like it's for people that don't actually like exploring the game. Like, why do you want to constantly switch out of the game? You want to constantly not play the game? What? No. Natlan is well designed enough in particular. Natlan in particular is well designed enough, especially that, like, it's not that hard to just find things that, like, it's not actually really more time efficient, even. Like, if that's your argument, of it's faster to get Primo Gems, if that's the reason you're using it. Like, yes, it might be faster to 100% the map. I'm not trying to 100% the map, I'm trying to get Primo Gems. Like, I don't need 100%. I don't need to get the final 20 Primo Gems in the Springs area. It makes more sense to switch over to do, like, the quest in this area. Because you haven't noticed, I haven't done the quest in this area, right? Like I have enough other things to do before I get to the point of, oh, I need to use the interactive map to scrounge down the last 10 Primo Gems in an area. Like, ugh. I don't know, I hate micromanaging exploration. So, if you want to use it, fine. But don't tell me to use it. Where the heck is this thing? I do have multiple monitors, but I don't want to. The multiple monitor experience is the same, where I have to, like, all right, stop playing, go over to the other window, all right, go mark it, switch back in. It just is less time wasty. It's not as time wasty with multiple displays. It's still time wasty. And it's still not actually playing the game versus just mentally engaging with the gameplay design in order to figure out what things are. Like, it's something as simple as this, like, oh, where's the Monatu? I want to figure out where the Monatu is. Not, let's go check the interactive map and someone else can tell me where it is. I don't know why I killed that. Sorry. Oh, I'm stupid. I know what it is. I'm stupid. But yeah, like I absolutely get trying to do it to finish out, like, if you're trying to completion things. But I don't know. I also still get more satisfaction from, like, it was so enjoyable doing 100% Natlan. Like, it was stressful trying to do it in 24 hours, right? But it was very enjoyable trying to 100% Natlan on my main account without the interactive map, right? Just trying to use the game design of, like, okay, see thing in distance, go to thing. Try to mentally, personally track, alright, yep, I've finished with this area, I think, you know, put a sticker down in this area, because, like, oh, I'm not sure what I have to do here, but I'll come back to it later. Alright, we can mark this thing as done, alright, yeah. And, like, I don't know, it's just a well-designed area that I can very easily mentally keep track of different things. And the only thing I got, like, a little bit stressed about was realistically this general area, because there's so many layers here. And I thought I had been somewhere that I actually hadn't been before. Like, I just missed a bunch of chests. And that caused me to almost not complete my challenge. Other than that, I had no problem 100%ing without the freaking interactive map. It was enjoyable doing that. Where's the dang Yoshi? There it is. If you enjoy using the interactive map, more power to you. I don't get it. That's all I can say. Don't tell me to use it if I don't want to. I use the damn thing if I want to. It's a good resource to exist. There's no reason I have to use it. And I shouldn't have to use it. If the exploration is well designed, I shouldn't feel very much need to use it, in my opinion. And I think they did a really good job with Natlan, because I have not really felt almost any need to use the thing. You know, the worse designed the region is, the more you might feel a need to use the thing, is what I would say. And I think a lot of people just use it because they're in the habit of using it.
An impressive bounty.
Yoink. Yeah, I can definitely get using it for the Sumeru Desert. Or Sumeru in general, with how freaking awful, like, the R&R quest was as far as, like, locking you out of being able to explore certain things. Like, you almost have to use the freaking interactive. The Sumeru is, in my opinion, the worst designed region in the game, because of the R&R quest structure and how that prevents you from exploring things. But, like, you know, I don't know, run into some puzzle thing. Like, you kind of have to have the freaking interactive maps for Sumeru to go check and see if anyone says, you need to complete subsection 82C, legal code 8, version 10, of the R&R quest to be able to complete this puzzle in Overworld, because it gives you this specific stupid R&R song. I get what they were going with that. It was bad open world design. So, anyways. This is a local legend. Yeah, we can do this too. Right. I think we're out of 10 pull already, by the way. No, we need 5 more or 10 more primo gems. Love. I feel so bad fighting this lady, by the way, but I need the primo gems, so you know what? She dies. I just want to let her vibe, honestly. I think this lady's a better damage dummy than the capybara, but she does, I think, hit pretty hard. But she's relatively easy to stagger, right? With not, you know, that much poise breaking going on. So I actually think this enemy might become one of my preferred units to damage test on in the future. She's very tanky. She does that, which is a problem, right? She has mechanics that are annoying. She does that. But you can see it took her a while before she did that with this team. So, and this team doesn't have an insane amount of like poise breaking. It's just Arlecchino's. So, right, I'm able to like pretty constantly stagger her. I don't know. Like this enemy is a useful damage dummy. I just kind of feel bad about attacking her. So, yeah. All right. Do this. We've gotten a little bit distracted from my goal of exploring the plateau area and whatever, but that's fine. This one I do remember. This one I swear I just got lucky. Actually, you know, it felt like I got lucky with accidentally discovering the way to figure out this one, because I was like, I ran into this area like multiple times, and like the first time I didn't even realize the lady was a local legend. I just vibed to her for like a minute, and then I came back to this area later on in trying to 100% on my main account, right? And the second, I didn't even realize the first time that there was a Monotooth thing here in the first place. Also, I didn't realize you could trigger that by doing that. That was funny. I think what happened there was the camera position just happened to be... The check they had for this being lined up there probably just does a check for the camera on one axis, and it doesn't actually... Yeah, like they're not doing like an AI image scan to make sure that it actually lined up right. They're just checking like camera positioning, and the camera position happened to line up right, and I was gliding there. That's funny. But anyways, point is I didn't even see the Monotooth thing here, right? And I just didn't like fight the lady because I just like vibed to her for a second, but came back and then accidentally did a normal attack on her and killed her after I realized she was a local legend. And then I turned around to leave it. I was like, oh, there's a thingy here. Okay, what do I do here for this? I mean, it's probably something with the circles. And then I saw like the shinies up here, which was just the eggs. The eggs were shining or something. And I walked up here, and then like this is just good design is my point. And I like just happened to, I think, line this up. Wasn't even really that on purpose. And I was like, oh, I see, that's cool. And then I realized what he had to do over here, right? And that's just good design. Wherein it's like it's not very obvious what to do, but it's satisfying to figure out, and kind of naturally inclines the player to figure it out as well. And this is one of the more well-designed little like minor puzzle things in Natlan, I would say. So, anyways, that is a chest, and I think we technically don't need to grab it, but we will anyways. Yep, that's 5 primo gems. We have exactly enough, I believe. Yep. We'll go turn in the sigils, and then we do these. Blam. Alright. Go get this quick then. Wait, this is an entrance to an area, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Okay, I might put a sticker here. This is a quest we could do, I think, right? Yeah, this goes into one of the underground areas. So I will put a sticker here. This is something we might do in the next stream. Okay, I was going to do a unit review stream tomorrow. Instead, I was going to do a unit review stream today, but then I was like, I want to explore. And I said earlier that I was going to do a unit review stream tomorrow now because I didn't do it today. And now, because of the fact that we're at 70 pity after we do this temple, I think I might do another exploration stream. So, if anyone's waiting for a unit review stream, I'm sorry. I think I kind of want to wait until I finish this. Sorry, I don't know. Anyways, whatever. We're just gonna put a star here. Underground thing. Actually, this one might not have a quest. This one might just be a short little area. But I know there is. I think the quest for the underground area starts actually over here. Quest underground, I think. But yeah, we got like that quest to do. We got whatever this is to do. We have the quest in the temple. We got all the primogens we get from the chest alone, right? There's this quest, which doesn't take that long. I think. So, I think it should be very doable to get another temple. Although we won't have like the, I don't know. Maybe I will do a unit review stream tomorrow, because then at least if I do it like, if I do a unit review stream tomorrow, and then I can do like, hopefully the final stream for trying to get C6 Raiden, we could do, I went to the wrong thing. We could do on Thursday, maybe. Thursday for me, might not be Thursday for you. Down there's the Perry Night Kingdom dude. Oh, yeah, yep, I remember. Yep, that's that spot. Yep. Alright, offer. So, anyways, we'll see what we get for 4 stars here, too. Obviously, the 4 stars we get here can affect my ability to do... Or how many wishes I'll need, so we'll see. Point is, we only had to grind out 5 pulls this stream, and that took about 3 hours, which was pretty good, right? I would say. But if I do another stream like this tomorrow, we probably have to grind like a 10 pull potentially, depending on the 4 stars we get here. And having to grind, 9 wishes versus grinding 10 wishes takes a little bit different amount of a time investment, right? So, wow, how exciting. We shall see. Point is, I might wait until Thursday to finish this off. Or we'll get a 5-star here. Yap for 10 minutes and then just get a 5-star pooped on me anyways, it's possible. Yep, I think we got enough, right? Yeah, good. I did my math correctly. Alright, this puts us at 70 pity. Well, not surprising. Let's see. This give me 3 4 stars, please. Not a great start. 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 Okay, well, I think we're getting 1 4-star. And I mean, it is a polearm, I guess. But I can tell you, Dragon's Bane copies ain't the most useful thing on this account. But regardless, at least I had 4-star glitter, so that's 1 wish. So I need to grind 9 more wishes. Factoring in... okay, that makes me think... I'm probably going to try to finish this off on Thursday. Because at least we'll have the 2 dailies worth, right? Which will make it a lot easier to farm for. That's my plan. We'll probably have to do, I think with the Natlan quests that there still are to do, and the exploration there still is to do, it should not be hard to get to pity. I do want to do another temple. I know I could do single pulls. I know I could do single pulls. But I think it's more exciting if we do a temple, because the next temple will go to 80 pity. And unless we get quite unlucky, should have a 5-star, right? So, anyways. I think it's more exciting to do a temple, right? There'll be more anticipation, especially because, again, I'm not, to reiterate, I am not going to use, if we lose the 50-50, we lose it. I am not going to continue grinding for C6. I do not think it is worth using a guarantee to get C6 Raiden. We're already using a pity's worth of wishes, right, to get to potentially C6 Raiden. If we lose the guarantee, or lose the 50-50 and get a guarantee, it is much better to save the guarantee for Eon Son if they release, or Madame Pink if she exists, whatever polearm 5-star, right? So, we're gonna do the smart thing if we lose the 50-50. And I also don't really want to grind 75 wishes. I don't want to grind 75 wishes in less than 2 weeks. That would be insane. So that's the plan. We'll see what happens. We just have to win 150-50. Surely the game wouldn't make me lose a 50-50 on C6, right? No, I don't know. I'll be happy either way. All right, guarantee is good. Gives me easy way to plan around. A guarantee would make it, assuming like Eon Son is a polearm user, which they might not be, and they're, like a 5-star, that might let me very easily plan around guaranteeing their weapon, right? So, like, I'd only need about 200 pulls then with a guarantee on the character banner to guarantee the weapon and the character. Now is the weapon more sensible to go for than the character's constellations? Heck if I know. I don't know. We don't know what the character looks like. We don't even know if they're a polearm user. But yeah. Point is, you will not convince me to use that guarantee for Raiden. If we lose a 50-50. That's my point. That's my Toma looking. I haven't changed his build since I got a C6, but he's C6 now. We got a C6 in the wishing video. So, anyways, yep. Yeah. Thank you for joining the stream. I think that's all I got. Actually, no. Wait. I'll go on my main account quick. He says he thanks people for joining the stream, therefore causing 100 people to leave. It's fine. Yeah, I think we're done here. Right. I've done everything I need to do today. Yeah. Okay. Anyways. Oh, you know what I might do? I might do off camera tomorrow or today. I might try to finish this quest, because, you know, this is just 60 Prima Gems from that alone. And then I think you also get Prima Gems from the quest completion itself, if I recall. Maybe you don't. I don't actually remember. Either way, I will do that, I think, because that I think is not worth the time to do on stream. But anyways, playing the battle pass thingies. What are you talking about? I'm at level 50. You want me to claim these? Oh yeah, gotta get more XP. There you go. Anyways, whatever. I think Zenless is in maintenance, by the way. I was going to consider doing Zenless, but we'll go on to my main account. Is Zenless on maintenance yet? I think it is, but anyways. Let's bring up my turtle. Do farming on my main account real quick. Won't take very long. Are you doing account fixing anytime soon? You just got your hacked account back and all my artifacts were deleted. I need help fixing. I actually had in my list of ideas wanting to try to fix a hacked account. What I can say, Celestia's Cat, please use like a password generator or something for your password. And also, this might be weird saying from a person that, you know, logs into people's accounts for making videos on their account, but I think my track record is pretty trustworthy. Don't share your freaking passwords with people though. Like, that's one concern I have about the series I'm making, is that like it might accidentally normalize people sharing their accounts because like they're desperate to like have someone fix their account. Like, and like if someone reaches out to you pretending to be me, this is something I might say might have to say in my future videos, but I haven't had anyone tell me they've gotten scammed by anyone impersonating me. But like, don't share your account. Like double check, like if I message you or email you, double check it's from the email that I have listed on my YouTube page and in the forum, and double check it's from my username that you can see, like I am the account owner on my Discord server. You can make sure it matches my username. Someone's not just like impersonating my profile picture and, you know, using a weird symbol that looks like it's an O but actually isn't an O kind of thing. So anyways, but Celestia's Cat, I do actually want to do a video on a hacked account. So I think that would be a very fun video to make. I'm not gonna promise I'll be able to succeed, because like someone deleting all of your artifacts is it's like the #1 thing that basically resets your fucking account. I don't get why people do that, but I also don't understand why people like cheat in video games. I think they're sad. If you're someone who cheats in video games, like in competitive like online video games, I don't care if you cheat in a single player game. It doesn't matter. Like modding is technically cheating in like if you mod Terraria or something, or Minecraft. Like, yes, you're kind of cheating in some ways if you get rid of some of the game structures, but it doesn't matter. If you cheat in competitive online games, you are a sad person. You are a sad person. You're pitiful.
You can only do so much on your own, but with a group, anything's possible.
Where's my window? I almost forgot to do this. We have this. Close your eyes. Anyways, Celestia's Cat, please DM me on Discord or something, or email me if you don't have Discord. To I don't know if for some reason multiple people email me, I might ask you to like give me a screenshot of your like profile or whatever. But I don't have a way to DM you through YouTube or anything, right? YouTube does not have a DM system, but I will jot down your name here actually right now. Because I do think that would be a very interesting video to make. I'm not going to promise it's going to be soon, but I would think it would be a very interesting video to fix your account, and it would be an opportunity for me to encourage people to have good security practices is probably what it would be at the very least. How much pity now? You're probably just joining. I am getting to the point of ending the stream, Nyan. I just did a 10 pull. I finished farming for the day on Polearms Only. I've been trying to do a 10 pull per stream, basically. So, there we go. Alright. Yeah, we're at 70 pity on Polearms Only. But right now, in case you didn't notice, this is not a Polearm account. Ooh, nice. Alright, yeah. I'm farming to get the final ascension on Kanich, by the way. And then, I would have farmed more of this boss today, but I condensed all my resin out of habit, so... What is Primo refreshing? Something you shouldn't do. Only reason I do it, I want to stress, and I don't do this in Polearms Only because it'd be stupidly wasteful. The only reason I do this on this account is because it helps me potentially build more characters to make more videos on more characters than I would otherwise not be able to do by building up more. Like I've only been doing resin refreshing. I think like, it took me a long time to convince myself to even be willing to do one resin refresh a day, which is the cheapest one. I still cannot stomach the idea of doing any more than one. You know, using my dailies, it's 60 prima or 50 prima gems technically, but approximately a daily's worth of prima gems to do resin refreshing. I have felt it even after only doing it for like I don't even know if I've done it for a month yet. But it's been nice having that little bit of extra resin to give me more flexibility with doing things. So I'm a content maker for this video game. I kind of need more resin to build more things. So, no, don't resin refresh. I think it's a scam. It probably should not even exist in this game, in my opinion. Why C6 Raiden? Wouldn't Sino C6 have better damage potential? Think about the banners that have existed, right? Roni. I'm not purposely going for C6 Raiden. I happen to have C5 Raiden because of the goddamn 4 stars they released. I wouldn't have C6 Raiden if Chevreuse didn't release on with her banner, and obviously Chevreuse was made in conjunction with trying to be really good for Raiden. Like, I do not think... Chevreuse probably wouldn't exist if C0 Raiden's kit was not meh. In my opinion. And then I wanted Toma C6 on Polearms Only. And I have C5 now. So I'm going for C6 because it'd be fun. I'm not purposely trying to get C6. It does not even matter that much to me. Like, we just have it happen to it because of the banners that have happened. And it's a fun thing to do now because we happen to be close to it because it's a Polearm Only account. It is not something that makes any fucking sense to do. It doesn't make sense to get any goddamn C6. I don't know why Dia bursted. No C6 is worthwhile. So as far as like asking questions of anything, like, why get this C6? Because this is the one we're doing. This is the one that's currently on banner. It's the one we're currently close to on Polearms Only. That's why. Not because it makes sense. It doesn't ever make sense to get a C6. It's pointless to ever even bother, in my opinion, meaningfully comparing any C6 to another C6. Just get it because you freaking want it because you happen to be able to get it, right? Because you like the character. Like, there's no good objective reason to actually get these things, in my opinion. So, we're getting it because we are. That's all. I shouldn't say we're getting it. We might not get it. If I lose a 50-50, oh well. So, anyways. Whatever. If we lose a 50-50, we lose a 50-50. We might get it. It's fun to at least try to get, right? And we're doing a silly Polearm Only account. Why not try? If Sino had more reruns and Sino had, you know, run with Chevreuse and Sino had a run with Toma, then we might be getting C6 Toma instead. Or C6 Toma. C6 Sino instead, for sure. I think C6 Raiden is probably more fun than C6 Sino, because Sino's constellations are just extremely boring, quite frankly. He has very generic carry unit constellations is what I'd describe Sino's constellations as. But anyways. Yeah, having a C6 5-star is more of a flex than an account boost, yeah. And at least C6 Raiden, if we end up getting it, I could be like, I spent nothing on this character. And just be like, we wound up with C6 Raiden and Polearms Only because they happened to put good 4-stars with Raiden. Yeah. So if we end up with C6, it's just stupid. I can't believe I have C5. It's stupid. Stupid that I have C5 Raiden and Polearms Only. Anyways. You have a main or favorite character in general? Not really. I like a lot of characters in this game. I'd say Dia is very much up there as one of my favorite kits in the game, unironically. Like, you know, people need to... I maintain that the player base needs to detach from... And I blame Mihoyo for this, to be clear. It's not really the player's fault. But I maintain my perspective that hyper-optimizing the game down is pointless. Because there's no content that actually necessitates the level of optimization that, you know, dominates the rhetoric of like how people consider using most characters in the game. And I think people undervalue, you know, less optimal things as being still viable enough team options for clearing the content of the game, right? And I think how they designed Dia is still one of my favorite kits in the game. And the more characters release, the more fun options I'm having to use with Dia. Dia's build is not correct for this team, by the way. She's on her DPS build. Because normally with Mualani, you would not burst on Dia with Mualani, you would just use her E. But we're doing it anyways. Because I don't feel like changing Dia's build all the time, that's why. Yeah, she is on a carry build right now. I will be mad if the Pyro Archon has defensive utility in her kit. But the Pyro Archon is Dia Pro Max, right? Faster coordinated pyro attacks, higher uptime, more damage in the short field time burst. Like, if the Pyro Archon, if Mavuika is Dia Pro Max, but I mean, maybe. Okay, there we go. If the Pyro Archon is Dia Pro Max, but instead, but she just does more damage, that's fine, right? But if the Pyro Archon does things like giving interruption resistance and, you know, other forms of defensive utility, I will be mad. I will be mad if they literally just make the Pyro Archon better Dia. But, you know, I like if they actually do that, if she's literally is just like, you know, she does some tanking for the team, does attack buffing, does you know, more like higher multiplier damage, and does coordinated pyro attacks, like she just does Dia but everything better, I will not pull the Pyro Archon. I'm just gonna commit to that. I'm not gonna pull her. I'm gonna just protest that kit if she's literally just better Dia. So, and like things like but like, you know, just being an offensive more a version of Dia that's more offensive focused is perfectly fine and will be a better character for most players. At least for how most people play the game. But, you know, I will be very, very annoyed. What do you want Mavuika to be? Why do you want Mavuika to just be better Dia? You want Mavuika to be this goddamn catch-all character that applies a shit ton of pyro, makes your team stay alive, does attack buffing, and can be a DPS? Like, if Mavuika is what I think she is, where she will be Dia-esque, where I think she will have coordinated pyro attacks. I think she will be like Pyro Raiden, but I think she will do some attack buffing, so you don't have to use her burst to like do DPS, but she can. And I think it would be cool if she had a burst that's kind of like Dia's, not in its exact functioning, but in that it's a short duration damage output window, right? Where like she will output a bunch of damage in a short amount of field time. Is the base concept of right? Rather than staying on field for 15 seconds, or whatever. Like, I think that is a cool idea. Like, if she's Dia Pro Max as far as damage goes, that's cool. But if she does that, and she also gives interruption resistance. But unlike Dia, she always gives interruption resistance. And she just heals the whole team, right? Like, if she's a team-wide healer and gives interruption resistance and does attack buffing and does, Dia burst but higher multiplier, like Dia damage, the same style of Dia damage but higher multiplier, that is what I would be mad about. That is what I would be mad about. Like, we should not want that. We want characters to have differentiation between their kits, right? I do, like... If the Pyro Archon is going to have meaningful offensive utility, she should not have meaningful defensive utility. This is why I vehemently am against like people being like, this character doesn't have interruption resistance without C1 garbage, blah. Like God, you can look at like the Arlecchino beta cycle and see all the people that complained about Arlecchino C1 and like how she didn't have interruption resistance in her base kit. Like, Jesus Christ. So anyways. It's very easy for them, I think, to make the Pyro Archon have a relevant kit that could be doing similar things as Dia, but wouldn't entirely replace the things that Dia does that's unique. And the main thing that Dia does that's unique that she should keep is the interruption resistance and her weird tanking utility with these two passives. This is what makes Dia's kit truly unique, in conjunction with the fact that she can do some off-field pyro, but it's usually off-field pyro that's at its best with, other units, like Dendro most notably. And then she also has this weird carry utility playstyle, right? And personally, I think things like her C2 should have been in her freaking base kit. The fact that her uptime is low without C2 is annoying as shit. But you can also just do Sakurai Sword, and it mostly kind of mitigates those issues. But anyways, like she's not a good carry because she's made to do some defensive utility. Like, I don't know. I actually think Dia is a well-designed unit. A little bit underpowered because she is a standard banner character, yes, but she still has enough nuance in her different utility that I think she's actually a very well-designed character. But people are obsessed with, they see flashy animation, and if, flashy animation doesn't do 10 bajillion damage, they say it's a bad character. Like, no. Things other than damage exist. I don't know, like people jizz all over Zhongli. Oh my god, Zhongli keeps me immortal and makes it so I don't get interrupted. Dia does some of the same things, but it's not as brain dead to use, and Dia's garbage because of it. Okay. Like, I don't know, I swear to God, just people don't want to think at all. And you know what, if you don't want to think at all, that's fine, I guess, but not my vibe. Not my vibe. We'll see what the Pyro Archon is. I'm just saying, I don't want her to be literally objectively better than Dia. I will be mad if the Pyro Archon is just Dia style, but more better for offensive utility, because Pyro Archon, but then also gives defensive utility, would be stupid. If she's going to be stronger, if she's going to be a strong carry, she should not have defensive utility. Anyways. Dia is a well-designed character. Is she my main? Not necessarily. I play plenty of other characters, realistically. But, yeah, I don't know. I play a lot of characters in this game. So... realistically, her, Arlecchino... Candace I really like finding uses for. I wouldn't say she's a main, not my main account or anything. I really like thinking about finding different weird use cases for Candace, though. Yeah, realistically, like Dia, Arlecchino, EI, are the closest characters, I would say, to being mains for me that I try to make the most use of. Official technically might be in that category too, but yeah, Sethos I really enjoy using. He has actually weirdly become a unit that I have. Anytime there's a new Abyss cycle, I like trying to see if I can use Sethos to succeed. And I usually can, which is cool. So, yeah. Yai build check. She's on. Right, I have transitioned her to a two-piece attack build. These are their overall stats. The reason I have a very good amount of EM in substats, and the reason I like this build for her now is it's very universal. Like she performs very well on aggravate still. She also performs very, very well on overload. I have been using her a lot quite lately in the last few months, especially with Chevreuse's release, but I've also been doing like more, I don't know, like weird electrocharge things. Usually I would prioritize Fischl for most like what I was talking about earlier, the stream with Raiden, Farina, Sijuin. I would usually get Fischl over Yai, but Yai is still a viable option there too, right? So anyways, been using Yai in a lot of non-Dendro teams more lately, so I've enjoyed having her on a slightly non-Dendro build focus. But, yeah. Notable difference between C6 Xingqiu and Xilonen in solo Hanzhou? Not really, other than the fact that, well, like the notable thing about Xilonen, and this is the thing about Xilonen that still shines the most, is particularly the fact that she's an HP scaler. Makes doing double Hydro with Xilonen, like Xilonen shines the most in double Hydro, right? Where her ER needs are significantly lower, so it's easier to build her for a lot more damage, and Hydro Resonance also gives her more damage, right? Xingqiu is an attack scaling unit, and he does a lot of Hydro application. He does more Hydro application than Xilonen C0 does, right? But Xilonen still has like unique value, particularly with like double Hydro, like say Hydro, like Farina and Xilonen are very strong combo together, right? So, you know, solo Hydro Xilonen, I think, is very C0 solo Hydro Xilonen is very similar to a invested C6 Xingqiu, is what I would say, right? So, anyways, because he can output a meaningful amount of damage with his C6 on an invested like emblem build, right? You don't have to have him on an emblem build to make use out of him. You can see this build is more than usable on him, assuming Sack Sword procs. And I mean, yes, I would rather have a crit rate circlet than a crit damage circlet. I think I just don't have a crit rate circlet that I want to put on him right now because I think, yeah, Bennett has it. So, you know, I need another crit rate circlet, I guess, is my point. And noblesse, but... Oh, I have one. Oh, well. Okay. Wow, that's actually good for him. There we go. Kind of fixed. I'm not going to level it up all the way right now, but technically, you know, fab build with the crit rate circlet would probably be my preferred build. Anyways, what was I saying? I don't know. Yeah, yeah. Solo Hydro Xingqiu C6 versus Xilonen. If you need the extra Hydro application, Xingqiu is just better. Xingqiu's damage output is relatively not that different from Yelon's damage output at C0 solo Hydro. C0 versus C6 Xingqiu solo Hydro, both of them, right? And Yelon's is higher, I think, but Xingqiu also offers his defensive utility, right? it's again, you know, one of the main things, like, he can do a good amount of defensive utility on top of like his Hydro application and the bit of damage he can do. So yeah, but when either of them are solo Hydro, they're usually, I don't know, it's not like they're providing an insane amount of damage, but they can provide meaningful damage. But it also just depends. it depends on your build, right? Yada yada. So, why are you on your main account? Because I was ending the stream, and then I started yapping. That's why. I don't even have anything else to do. I think I'm done. Yeah, I'm all done. Yeah, we don't need to do anything else here. I finished the farmings. What are my materials looking like for Zilonen? 42 of those. That's okay. I need a lot more. I need a lot more of these. So, anyways. Kanish or Mualani? I mean, Mualani's banner is gone, so this is kind of the wrong time to ask that. I like Mualani more, quite frankly. They both are interesting characters, though. They're both, I'd say, very similar. They both have similar problems in having not a crazy amount of team variety, and really only, like, they both can be used in teams that are not, you know, making the utmost, like Mualani can be used in Mono Hydro or whatever. And Kanish can be used in the Hyperbloom, right? As like your fourth unit that you use in a Hyperbloom team. You still have a second Dendro. And like he can just still be like contribute a meaningful amount of additional damage to that team, and it can be valuable, right? But like the teams that they actually shine the most in, you know, Mualani is vape teams, and you got to do some vaporize on her. And Kanish is of course burning or Burgeon teams, and you know, both of these characters, right? Both Mualani and Kanish have similar problems as far as like team options. Yeah, I don't know. They're both very similar. They just like do their thing in different ways visually, right? Kanish is obviously doing his rotation grapple gimmick, and Mualani does her surfing around, smack some enemies, click normal attack, make sure you have pyro on enemies. She's a bit more nuanced as far as trying to set up the right buffs in certain teams. I'd say Kanish is a bit easier to play, but also Kanish has a number of interesting nuances to how to play him as well. I don't know. They're both cool characters, in my opinion. They're both very, very similar. It's just, you know, do you want an on-field carry unit to build a team around? Well, both of them are pretty compelling units, but how many on-field carries do you really need, right? So, yeah. Anyways, I plan to finish his final ascension, and then he's probably staying at level 8 skill. He's probably staying at this investment level once I get his final ascension done, and then that's it, right? Maybe I'll switch him to a Dendro Goblet eventually, but right now I have a really good onset attack Goblet that enables a really good off-beast flower, so I kind of like what I got going on him. I do want to get a better circlet for him, but other than that, he's done, in my opinion. So, yeah, like I don't like him enough that I'm going to invest crazily in him. I enjoy Mualani's playstyle a bit more, but yeah, they're both good characters. They're very similar. Anyways. I think we're going to get melt DPS with Natlan. I mean, if Capitano it exists in Natlan at some point, he will probably be focused around being a melt DPS, I suspect. But we'll see. We'll see. Mualani's just on a 2-piece. I don't know if I'm ever going to move her off of a 2-piece. She is C0. With the Battle Pass weapon. Anyways. I don't know why this has turned into a Q&A stream. I think Tignari C0 is a better pick than Dia C0 on the selector. If you have an unused Yai Miko. Oh yeah, for sure. If you have Yai especially, yeah. Yai and Tignari have... Oops. Windows dinged. I don't know if you heard that by accident. Yai and Tignari have a really excellent like flow to them that I find very enjoyable. I don't play it a lot anymore, but it is very much viable. So yeah, if you have an unused Yai, both of them are going to take investment, right? That's Tignari's biggest problem, is he's going to take a meaningful amount of investment to get good value out of him. But especially if you just have Yai laying around that you can build too. They're a good build around core, but yeah. Dia's value is a little bit different, of course, in her defensive utility and, you know, her ability to just, you know, do like an instructor's build for buffing Mualani or whatever else, right? So they're very, very different characters to compare the uses for. But I would say in your case, probably Tignari is a better bet. But it also depends on what other kind of teams you got going on, right? But anyways. Yarp. Thanks for watching. We'll continue the C6 Raidening Hopefully in probably 2 days. That's my current guess. I know I said this the previous stream, but I think I will do a unit area stream tomorrow. If you wanted to join that one, I think, or maybe I won't be in the mood to stream. I don't know. Bye bye.